going for a referendum. Importantly, what would it mean in terms of shaping the politics of the day? What will 2020 look like? What will the country look like? Is it definite? Is it a sure deal that we are getting something that is tangible, that is worth, especially at the level of the counties, in terms of, more money is going there and development being realized by the people? Is it true that the youth are going to benefit courtesy of this particular document? Is it going to make the current 2010 constitution better than it is? Certainly a conversation that is left for us common mwananchi, even as this bill finds its way to the National Assembly and the Senate. There is not much that can go on there in terms of determining whether it sails through to a referendum or not. And so what would be the biggest challenge that stands or that remains is for you and me as the common mwananchi, the registered voters, to go out there and declare whether it's a no or a yes for this particular document. All this in a quest or getting us, to that stage of a proper aspect of democracy. All this in a quest of ensuring that as a nation we stand a chance of making it better for the future leaders, better for our children's children, and indeed better for us even as we still stay here. So karibu sana, we'll be discussing all that, but importantly, it is Tasty Wednesday, and today we'll be making a delicious meal for you. And actually, there will be two. We'll be doing breakfast and equally, just a random meal that you would be doing any other time of the day. Indeed, a session that you do not want to miss out on. You'll be getting the tips from the chefs themselves, so I'll be getting to introduce them later on. That is as from 8 a.m. all the way to 9 a.m. It will be a good show, you can be rest assured. So make sure that you keep it right here and, keep interacting with us. Hashtag Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela at TV47KE. So much more. It's always good to have you every other morning. And so, as always, or as the norm, we look at the papers. We have the gentlemen who will be joining me for the conversation, and alongside me, they'll also be taking us through what the papers have detailed, even as we look at other nitty-gritty details in terms of what my team has prepared. But importantly also, we focus much on these particular conversations that are very crucial for us this morning. We ponder some more, we decipher, we get to have comprehensive look and coverage of these documents that we are talking about, or these conversations that we'll have picked for the stories of the day. So karibu sana. As we kickstart on this, we'll also be looking at what you expect for the day on the Daily Diary. But first, we briefly have a sneak preview of what has been captured on the front pages of the newspapers. The Daily Nation: triple murder, woman, son and her lover found dead. This is such an unfortunate occurrence, and the question lingers as to who killed them. So decomposing bodies of a government employee, her alleged boyfriend, said to be a university student, and her 8-year-old child were found in a city house yesterday when the boy's father went to look for them after the grade 2 pupil failed to go to school for 2 days. This is quite heartbreaking. A story captured on page 3. All this in most cases would be looked at as, something that, would be more of a love triangle affair. But then we cannot say much as we await to see what then will be coming in terms of the report after the investigations are conducted. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Still on the Daily Nation: what next for Ruto and Uhuru? Raila win is also what we'll be discussing this morning. Politics: MCAs in 38 counties passed the BBI bill, including all in Mount Kenya and some in Rift Valley. So what would this mean? Jubilant BBI supporters out there celebrating, and equally the proponents of the BBI celebrating. Right Honorable Raila Odinga so excited about the fact that, well, as he predicted yesterday, or Tuesday was meant to be a Super Tuesday, and indeed it happened so. Super Tuesday, they call it, as President Kenyatta and ODM chief gear up for referendum campaigns after scoring a resounding victory in counties. The Deputy President, that is William Ruto, is walking a tight political rope. That is a story that is captured on page 4, 5, and 6. We get to know who's set to benefit, who is not going to benefit, and so much so. So only one county assembly, that is Baringo County, did not vote for this or rejected this particular bill, and 24 counties is actually what was required so that this bill can sail through from the level of the counties now to the National Assembly, and such has played out. So we are following closely on the events of this to keep you up to speed. On matters education, teachers have 2 days to apply for thousands of exam jobs, and the Examinations Council is hiring a center managers, supervisors, invigilators, examiners, as well as security personnel for next month's KCPE and KCAC test. You have until Friday to apply online, as that is on the NEC website. The teachers should be knowing this. If you've participated before, then you understand well what is expected of you. A different story altogether. It's an unfortunate occurrence. Even as a country, we continue to mourn. That is Member of Parliament of Juja, who succumbed to cancer, and the conversation is out here. House mourns cancer warrior Francis Waititu. So members of Parliament want state to pay more attention to forgotten killer disease after Juja Member of Parliament died of brain cancer. That is Monday. We keep saying that, well, is a story that is developing even as we continue to condole with the family and friends of this man. And to a different one altogether, household name, lawyers take on a former CJ's Maraga's legacy. That one still lingers on. What plays out for a country run by the least qualified. Justice Maraga was inducted into an elite and revered, compared, writes Ahmed Nasir. And so most of the legal advisors, the lawyers, the senior counsels are out there speaking about the reign of Chief Justice David Maraga and what next for the country, even as we seek to get another Chief Justice and we seek to understand what would happen, what will play out, how we get them and all that. So it's a conversation that is ongoing, and most of the people have celebrated what it is that he did during his helm. Away from it to the People Daily, how Kenyans got into Malawi drama, and Lilongwe authorities feared controversial fugitive preacher, that is Bushiri, was using her daughter's Nairobi's medical trip as a ploy to flee the country. You know very well that he's had lots of cases that has been mated upon him, and the conversations are still ongoing. Well, most of the people questioning the credibility or the integrity of the man of God. A story captured on page 8. You can always grab a copy and get to know the details of the same. But away from it to the matters of BBI. And yes, the ayes have it. In 38 counties endorse the BBI. The Super Tuesday is, played out very well yesterday. Referendum in the offing as Uhuru and Right Honorable Raila Odinga register a resounding victory in a quest for constitutional reforms. And this, as a result, exposes Ruto's soft underbelly. Whether it is or not is something also that we'll be looking at extensively as we proceed, captured on page 4, 5, and 6 of the People Daily. Equally, the country mourns Waititu Wakape, commonly known as that, is also a story that has been captured on page 2 of the People Daily. And those are the key stories that are on the front page of the People Daily. Let's see what the Standard has in store. What this big win means for, well, the country. And that is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. MCA's score for BBI. This is something that many argued was likely to happen, and so to speak, it has indeed happened. Mass head count planned for all 350,000 teachers. Also a story captured on page 2 on matters education, and Mempi was ready for his death. Family says as it recalls his last moment. That is also on the Member of Parliament of Juja who passed on, and so much so that has been captured on the papers. We'll be looking at that as we proceed alongside the guests of the day. But before we even get to that, it is only fair that we look at what to expect, and that is on the Daily Diary. attend handover ceremony of infrastructure built by Constituency Development Fund at ACK Kio River Secondary School in Kiambu. That should be at 9 a.m. And the Standing Committee on Health will today at around 9 a.m. to meet with the County Governor of Busia to discuss the state of affairs at Busia Referral Hospital. And that's alongside many other things that will be playing out. Will definitely be here to keep you up to tabs in regards to the same. We'll have our teams down on ground as they check out on the events as and when they get to hit us, and importantly where it is that you are and around you and to other different places. And now it is time that we take a look at the news stories of the day. And the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 has sailed through that in 38 counties, and out of the 38 or the 39 that have so far debated the bill, ODM boss Raila Odinga says the move by the members of the Assembly's is actually going to sail the country closer to a referendum. Joash Onsari reports on how the situation has been in several county assemblies across the country.
The move by 38 county assemblies to adopt the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 edges the country closer to a referendum. The country surpassed the 24 county assemblies constitutional requirement Tuesday. County assemblies from Mount Kenya region were on the spot during their debate on the bill, with all of them adopting the bill. County assemblies of Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Nyandarua, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, and Embu adopted the bill Tuesday, followed by celebrations in various towns in the region. The county assemblies were thought to be divided on the vote.
I've seen today Mount Kenya voting as one block. Kirinyaga has voted unanimously. Other counties have voted unanimously. I said it before, I will say it again. You can rent a Kikuyu, but you cannot buy a Kikuyu. Bottom line, they will still vote for their own people. They know what is good for the region and they will stand with the region.
It was the most attended session. I'm actually for the last 8 years or so. And out of the 53, there was not a single voice of no.
Tafadhali wekeni amani. Mimi nimeuliza viongozi ambao tuko hapa, sisi ambao tunafikia rais na waziri uko hapa. Tuongee na rais kama ni wa Home atafutiwe kazi.
The rest of the region and the ASAL areas, the FCDC areas to pass this bill so that we can be part of the rest of Kenyans who have expressed confidence in this.
Our MCAs, honorable MCAs wa Kiambu, tuwapigie makofi. Tuwapigie makofi tena. Kwa sababu walisikia vile watu ya Kiambu walisema wakati ule tulifanya public participation.
This being President Uhuru Kenyatta's backyard, section of lawmakers allied to Deputy President William Ruto from the region have been faulting the report. Nakuru counties and Laikipia have also adopted the bill.
Ambao wamepitisha ni asilimia 95, 85%. Na hivyo ni kumaanisha kwamba ukiona pahali tulianza vile kulikuwa na resistance kubwa sana. Katika wiki 2-3 ambazo zimepita kumekuwa na mbadiliko wa mawazo ambao kufikia sasa tunaona kutakuwa, hata tukiendelea miezi mingine ambayo inakuja, kutakuwa na mabadiliko makubwa sana.
The bill has also been adopted in the counties of Kakamega, Narok, Nyamira, Taita Taveta, Bungoma, Kitui, Makueni, Lamu and Garissa. Others are Machakos, Mombasa, Meru, Marsabit, Kwale, Migori, Isiolo and Tana River. The county assemblies of Siaya, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Busia, West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, Kajiado, Kisii, Vihiga, Samburu, Nairobi and Laikipia had already adopted the report. So far, only Baringo County Assembly has rejected the bill. ODM leader Raila Odinga has lauded the members of county assemblies for passing the bill. Raila says the assemblies have moved the country closer to the referendum, which the bill secretariat says should be held in June this year. Odinga further said despite the propaganda and misinformation that has been peddled around the law change process, the assemblies stood firm. 8 county assemblies are yet to debate the bill. After the approval by the county assemblies, the constitutional amendment bill will be headed now to the National Assembly on its way to the referendum, which the BBI Secretariat is predicting on an earlier prediction of June this year. Joash Onsare, TV47, Kiambu County.
Josh, for that. And to mourn the BBI having eventually met the 24 counties threshold, the Building Bridges Initiative bill is now set to face 2 more hurdles before it is adopted into law. Now, first, the bill is expected to be introduced in Parliament, where members of both the National Assembly and Senate are expected to debate and cast a vote before it is subjected to a referendum in the coming months. Our reporter David Muthoka looks at the journey ahead for the BBI bill as it hits home stretch.
So the ayes have it.
With 38 counties, 14 more than the required 24 having already given the Building Bridges Initiative bill the green light, the bill is now set to progress to its penultimate phase in the Constitution amendment process. According to the Constitution, the BBI bill will now be introduced for debate in both houses of Parliament without delay once a minimum of 24 speakers of the county assemblies communicate with Speakers Justin Muturi of the National Assembly and Ken Lusaka of the Senate of their decision to endorse BBI. This is expected to go even with some counties yet to take a vote on the BBI bill, but whose decision on the bill has since been rendered inconsequential. The debate process is expected to last not more than 3 weeks if a statement by Speaker Justin Muturi is anything to go by, and is expected to culminate in a vote. Since the 2 houses will not have an opportunity to alter anything in the document, it is expected that the Senate will take the same amount of time.
Hiyo ndio ambayo inapaswa kupigiwa kura bila kubadilishwa.
Regardless of whether the bill is approved in both houses or not, it will then be subjected to one last test, a referendum with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC in a race against time to hold a referendum within 90 days of the developments in Parliament. A confident BBI Secretariat co-chaired by Suna East MP Junet Mohamed and former MP Dennis Waweru has since hinted at rolling out its strategy to popularize the bill. It is expected that the BBI team will announce its campaign schedule tomorrow before hitting the ground running on a charm offensive to drum up support for the BBI bill beginning March 1st. This is expected to set the stage for an intense duel pitting BBI proponents and antagonists, with the latter having one last bullet in the form of the public to shoot down the bill through the referendum, which is likely to take place in June this year. This further comes in the backdrop of a statement by IEBC Monday, which revealed that 3.1 million voters support the BBI bill and is seen as a major boost for the pro-BBI campaign in the race for the simple majority. David Muthoka, TV47, Nairobi.
Even as the constitutional amendment bill, that is BBI, has successfully been adopted in 38 counties, ward representatives in Baringo County allied to Jubilee Party have vowed to shoot down the BBI bill in the coming referendum. However, those allied to KANU have expressed their disappointments, saying Baringo residents were not involved in a public participation.
Baringo County Assembly is the only one to have rejected the BBI bill so far in a sitting that generated into chaos on the 11th of February. Members of the County Assembly allied to the Jubilee Party have maintained that they will once again reject the bill once subjected to a referendum. Led by Bartabwa MCA Ruben Chepsongol, the ward representatives have made it clear that they were not influenced by anyone but the interests of Baringo residents.
Wale ambao waliweza kuangusha ni haki yao. So hatuwezi kusema wale ambao wamesema hapa tunaomba msamaha, Baringo hatuombe msamaha. We are 31 against 9. 31 against 11. Kani ni wengi. Nani ameweza kuwakilisha mwananchi hapo? So uweze kuomba msamaha, sisi Baringo hatuombe msamaha. Tumeangusha BBI na tumesema kwamba tulisema no kulingana na mwananchi.
However, MCAs allied to KANU have expressed their disappointments, saying Baringo has now become a laughingstock for failing to pass the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 compared to 38 counties that have so far adopted the bill. They now claim that Baringo residents were not involved in a public participation exercise before the bill was rejected.
Hata hatuna haya mbele ya Wakenya wote kusema kwamba sisi ndio peke yetu tulipinga. Nimejaribu kuangalia katika social media, Wakenya wanasema BBI is having at 30, Baringo receiving at 1. Sasa jameni, kwa kweli watu wa Baringo hawakupewa nafasi.
The people of Baringo are still wondering, and I want to say to our colleagues, we did a lot of injustice to the people of this county by not giving them an hearing to give their views and hear what they have at heart.
The MCAs have further hinted that their rivals who contributed to the downfall of the bill in the county assembly were preparing to embarrass the county's senator and KANU chairman Gideon Moi.
Wanasema wanakataa tu kwa sababu moja, ili kupunish ama kumpa sura mbaya Gideon Moi. Gideon Moi ambaye ni senator wa Baringo. Tusiwe na tabia kama hiyo watu ya Baringo.
Baringo County remains to be the only assembly to have opposed the BBI bill after 30 Jubilee members voted against it, while 11 from the independent party KANU voted in support of the bill. Nanok Lauren, TV 47.
Well, thanks Nanok for that. A section of anger Turkana County residents are now blaming their county speaker Erastus Lokali and Governor Josephat Nanok in what they termed as effort to reject the BBI bill, which was supposed to be debated as of yesterday. Turkana is among few counties in the country that are yet to debate the BBI bill. 8 county assemblies are yet to debate the bill, with 38 having adopted it.
Ya watu 15. Zaidi ya watu 15.
Leo hii naudhika sana kusikia kwamba speaker na governor wamefikisha kwamba imepostponediwa without notice, because sisi kama wananchi wa Turkana tujaelewa ni why ikawa postponed. So sisi tulikuwa matarajio yetu ili hii BBI iwe leo, ilikuwa imetarajiwa kwetu kwamba iwe imepitishwa na tungoje mambo mengine. Tujui tunaongojea nini?
Tutaonekana kwa macho ya nchi ya Kenya kama sisi ni wasaliti, kwa sababu hii ni kwa manufaa yetu sisi jamii ya Turkana.
Mambo ya speaker ya county government, ya county assembly, yes, yafaa wakae chini leo hii wapitishe hii BBI, kwa sababu hatuwezi baki nyuma na hatuwezi kusuhiwa na governor kujenga hii Turkana county government. Yafaa
Away from the BBI, tributes and messages of condolences have poured in for the late Member of Parliament for Juja constituencies, Francis Munyua Waititu, commonly known as Wakape, who succumbed to cancer at a hospital in Nairobi. President Uhuru Kenyatta led the nation in mourning the second-term Member of Parliament who revealed to the country that he was battling cancer in 2018.
In his message of condolence to family and friends as well as Juja constituents, President Uhuru Kenyatta eulogized Wakape as a devoted leader whose public actions always reflected the interest of the people he led. The president too has acknowledged his contribution and commitment towards the cancer fight in the country. On his part, the Deputy President William Ruto mourned Wakape as an enterprising leader who transformed many lives.
We all stand to observe a moment of silence.
At the National Assembly, Speaker Justin Muturi led members of Parliament in observing a moment of silence for the late Member of Parliament, as well as paying tribute to a man whom they mourned as active in the House, industrious and diligent.
He also served diligently in the Committee on Implementation. He was unequivocally vocal on matters pertaining to coffee, as exemplified by his efforts that contributed to the declaration of the Coffee Charity and Funds Revolving Fund by His Excellency the President during the 124th session of the International Coffee Council in Nairobi in March 2019.
MPs have mentioned him as a humble yet brave man who cut across the political divide. They have eulogized him as a tireless MP who worked hard to ensure the government's agenda sail through in the assembly. He will be remembered for the law of the contract, which was the first individual bill to be passed at the August House but rejected by President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Honorable Wakape was an active member of this House, and he used to sit behind me, leader the of majority. He used to sit, and him and Honorable Kose, I want to say it without any fear of contradiction, really were my foot soldiers. They really helped me in dealing with matters of government business in the House.
This is a man who was very brave. Many times when people have cancer, there's a lot of stigma. And I shared so much with him. And he told me, Mwesh, my mother has had issues of cancer, and even the sister. And last time when I was in India, he called us that, please remind me in prayers the time he was ailing.
We've lost a man who was dedicated, who was always here, whipping people. At one time, I thought he was the chief whip, because he really worked tirelessly to see that house business moved on the way it was supposed to.
At his home in Juja, friends, family and relatives thronged to condole the family. They mentioned him as a real fighter, a passionate individual who advocated for the establishment of local cancer centers and now want the government to establish them in his honor.
Juja people, to tell them that we are also condoling with them, and I thank you for their support for the long journey with Mheshimiwa, because he was diagnosed in 2017, and it has been a long journey for him.
Also opened the doors of the office to the family. This home, we have had very many office briefings, especially during those days when he was sick and he could not go to office. And we have had a chance to get the briefing as if it was meant for us. From there, we would have questions. Mzee was open to dialogue. He would compare our thoughts, and then he would make us understand why he makes his decision.
Wakape died aged 63 years and has been battling brain cancer locally and internationally. A parliamentary ad hoc committee led by Kiambu MP Jude Nyomo has been constituted to steer his funeral plans. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Mwangi Maina, TV 47, Nairobi.
Yes, may his soul rest in eternal peace. It's now time that we take a short break. We'll be coming back with the papers also as we delve deep into the discussions. It's all about matters BBI as the way forward.
What's the perfect way to kickstart your day in the morning? Well, apart from having a healthy breakfast, the Morning Cafe is all you need. We will inform you on what's happening on the roads, dive deeper into the newspapers, alongside heated political debates.
Examples. Yes, we are using examples. Is America here to defend itself?
Did you know that your greatest wealth is health? We get down into farming, education matters, business and innovation. And yes, we cannot forget family matters.
These people want encouragement.
With some good Friday vibes.
When the deal is done.
The Morning Cafe with Linda Alela, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on TV 47. What's the perfect way to kickstart your day in the morning? Well, apart from having a healthy breakfast, the Morning Cafe is all you need. We will inform you on what's happening on the roads, dive deeper into the newspapers, alongside heated political debates.
Examples. Yes, we are using examples. Is America here to defend itself?
Did you know that your greatest wealth is health? We get down into farming, education matters, business and innovation. And yes, we cannot forget family matters.
These people want encouragement.
With some good Friday vibes.
When the deal is done.
The Morning Cafe with Linda Alela, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on TV 47. What's the perfect way to kickstart your day in the morning? Well, apart from having a healthy breakfast, the Morning Cafe is all you need. We will inform you on what's happening on the roads, dive deeper into the newspapers, alongside heated political debates.
Examples. Yes, we are using examples. Is America here to defend itself?
Did you know that your greatest wealth is health? We get down into farming, education matters, business and innovation. And yes, we cannot forget family matters.
These people want encouragement.
With some good Friday vibes.
When the deal is done.
The Morning Cafe with Linda Alela, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on TV 47. What's the perfect way to kickstart your day in the morning? Well, apart from having a healthy breakfast, the Morning Cafe is all you need. We will inform you on what's happening on the roads, dive deeper into the newspapers, alongside heated political debates.
Examples. Yes, we are using examples. Is America here to defend itself?
Did you know that your greatest wealth is health? We get down into farming, education matters, business and innovation. And yes, we cannot forget family matters.
These people want encouragement.
With some good Friday vibes.
When the deal is done.
The Morning Cafe with Linda Alela, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on TV 47. You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
It is now time that we briefly look at the papers, and later on we'll be looking at the discussions that we have or are set for the day. That is on matters BBI, what way forward for the key gentleman. And I don't know why. In most cases, we'll always have to think about what is, set for the key gentleman as opposed to what it is that is set for Wanjiku. We can only hope that their interest is the interest of the common Mwananchi. And so we have the Daily Nation, the People Daily, and the Standard newspaper with me this morning. So we'll be looking at some of the other stories that have been captured away from the political ones, because those ones then will be forming the basis of our conversation this morning. Joining me for the conversation again, or not really again, so I just said again because of the word conversation, I've used it twice. We have Charles Munyui, who's a governance expert right here. Good to have you, sir, this morning.
A pleasure.
Thank you for your time. It's been a minute. The last time I hosted you was on Skype.
I never get the invites.
Is it
yeah,
so?
And I'm complaining officially after this in writing. So,
well, let's just say we have done well, right? Thank you so much.
much.
Honorable Kasim Sawat Tandaz, a member of Parliament, Matuge constituency. Good to have you this morning, sir.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank God. The houses are back, because then we are able to get you on board. Because in most cases, you'll say, niko huko mashinani na shughulikia watu wangu. Good to have you. And lastly, we have Honorable James Gakuya, Member of Parliament, Embakasi North. Good to have you, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you.
Sawa, karibu sana Mheshimiwa. We always have him most of the weekdays, that is on Wednesdays, and so he's more or less like a member.
I'm not as far as him.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's why Nairobi
Sometimes
is your place.
Sometimes to be part of it, but circumstances doesn't allow.
I agree. But then again, he has benefits on the mileage and all that, which you don't.
Of course, and that is the point.
It's not a benefit.
Can we have the microphone, sir?
It is not a benefit. It is the cost of coming to Nairobi. Honorable here literally walks to Parliament.
Oh.
So
why would he want to?
Yeah, it's the airfare, whichever way I travel, the SGR, you know, it's the cost of coming. It's not really a benefit.
So he argues otherwise.
But for sure, leader, if really we want to put what we call a standard levels of Kenya, let us not belittle other people in one way or the other.
Okay.
Because if my constituency is 40 kilometers at the far end point, those are kilometers. And I pray 10 times to the constituency when he makes once or twice a month. So who has costed the fuel much? I require that vehicle like yesterday because I serve then majority. When he probably serves like maybe 100,000 number of population, I serve 500,000.
Okay.
So that services will require a lot of facilitation, including that mileage. I don't need cash, but I need a vehicle. Yes.
Honestly, when he talks of 40 kilometers to Parliament, I believe most of us don't stay within Parliament. There are no houses around Parliament. So we could be staying in Kajiado, which is even more than 40 kilometers.
Yes.
But ultimately, we are talking about the distance from Parliament to our constituents. If we talk of 500, yes, but within square, maybe about 50 square kilometers area, we could be talking of 100,000, I agree, but within 300 square kilometers, so the distances even within our constituencies, you can't compare with Embakasi here. So I think this could be a debate for another day. But
we do not leave the government's expert here in regards to that. And remember what played out yesterday, the Super Tuesday, which we'll be discussing extensively as we proceed. Members of county assemblies are said to have been bribed into this. Well, sadly enough, the car grant was halted for a moment. And, you know, many thought that maybe the Super Tuesday would not even come to fruition because then they would say, well, this doesn't seem to fruition. So in this case, we are not going to sail this through. But it happened otherwise.
I am actually surprised at Mheshimiwa Akuya for a minute because he's among those guys who are opposed to the car grant for MCAs. Because if not necessarily by so saying, but by the position he holds on issues BBI and how county assembly should vote on this, him is complaining about the fuel. He has the car, 7 million worth of a car. Yeah, at least he has that grant. These guys, and stop looking at the Nairobi situation or Kiambu situation. There are rural areas, MCAs serve, where they might be the only ones with a car. If not just them, maybe there are only 2-3 cars. And when there's someone who is sick, someone who needs to move from point A to point B, that is the only person they can relate with on how, you know, like on a one-on-one. You are a leader, you need your car to take us to hospital. But you find now he's complaining about the fuel to move around Nairobi, where you can walk into an interstate, get into a matatu, get Uber, and find yourself in the respective areas that you want to visit in your constituency. And I think that is with a lot of respect. I'm just saying, I'm just saying this is a lot of respect and maybe with a bit of humor. But the bottom line is, members of the National Assembly and the Senate, and these are my friends, I respect them a lot, are not any different from members of the County Assembly that make decisions on health. Health is literally fully devolved, other than national referral hospitals and policy. Agriculture, our food security that we talk about, Big Four, is domiciled in counties. By the way, if you look at industrialization, it's about what you're growing, what you're strong in. If it's Mwea, it's about rice. If it's Nyandarua, it's about cabbages and warus. So those guys make decisions on planning, on integrated development plans, on approving the budgets, oversighting the governor, so that food can be on our table literally in this country. So you cannot look down at them and go like, these guys don't deserve a car grant of 2 million shillings. Seriously?
Mheshimiwa, you want to counter that?
Lily, I have no problem with my panelists in matters towards areas of concern, and especially the welfare in terms of fueling, either in the form of car loan or car grant, whichever. I believe that in fact the current constitution we are in totally addresses these matters. And I will just say, it is just by that particular figure as kind of
kind of exercise that gave us this new constitution, which has opened those windows for members of MCAs. Otherwise, when we were in the council during our tenure, actually we were earning less than 100,000, and we were not known by the constitution. Otherwise, we are just uncadred somewhere there at the Ministry of Local Government. We are not known. Otherwise, the only person who was known by the constitution is mayor of the city, and not any other member. But I can say that actually the current constitution order actually transformed a lot of issues. Because today, an MCA is giving him the same value at the level of member of parliament. During our time, it was not as a critical area. And therefore, I would say, transformation of the new constitution, I would say, is a big plus to this country. And actually, it has realized that actually the levels of those local leaders is also very important. And today, it is now pushing forward, giving them a kitty that will address the problems of the world levels, which is very important. And I have no problem with that. I am totally supportive of that. Only where we are not in the same page is, yes, we have all these carrots, but these carrots belong to us Kenyans. And we have, yes, promised Kenyans that, yes, this is the plate that I want to deliver to you. But how do you deliver this plate? I have no problem. The plate is so nice, and I also want to enjoy it. But reality is what is the question. How do we implement? Because what we are, and the only question I have with BBI is implementation. Because one, yes, we know where we are in terms of our levels of our red flag in terms of borrowing, and we know what we have predicted to go to the county. It is 35%. This is now anchored in the constitution, where it is mandatory going forward. It tells you the national government will be always left with zero in its kitty, and therefore development in this country for 10 to 20 years to come will depend on borrowing all through and nothing short of that.
You see, I really get surprised with the honorables who are normally on the no-camp. Even in the 2010 constitution, which he really now applauds that it is the best, it has transformed, it has done wonders, they are the same people who said it will be too costly to implement. True?
But it is. Is it simple, Rita? Have we done it?
It has really transformed.
We haven't in totality. Agree.
You see, now they are here. And I don't know why I think they tend to be a little bit slow in learning. Now they are saying even the current BBI will be too expensive. I'm sure 3 years down the line, bring Mheshimiwa Gakuya here and say it is wonderful. I never thought. Yeah, just the same way he's now applauding the 2010 constitution. But also, going forward, the issue of 35 versus 15, it's simple mathematics, honorable Weshimiwas who don't understand this thing. I don't need to have more than 100 shillings. If I have 100 shillings, I give you 15%. It means I'm giving you 15 shillings. With the same 100 shillings, if I decide to give you 35%, I'm still giving you, I'll give you 35 shillings. It doesn't mean that
in relation to what you have.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I need to have more to give you 35, you know. And about the development, yes, the development now will go to the counties because that is where the money will be. Unfortunately, I think for those who are opposing, they have that notion that when it stays in the national kitty, then they'll benefit because they are thinking they'll be having their person as the CEO.
Projects that
no, these capital projects are done in the counties. You know, you are assuming that the capital projects are not done. Where are they done? National government. Where? In the counties still. So why can't it be done there? You see. Yeah.
5%. Yeah. Because I think people are sending us other people around in circles. The bottom line is, when we devolved, there was a transition authority, and mathematics were done. And for counties to survive, they needed a minimum of 15% for them to survive. And that is why we place 15% in the constitution. But that does not mean that is the amount they've been receiving, honestly, because they cannot survive. And we've seen they cannot even live with the 15%. Even surviving on the 15% is about recurrent expenditure, largely. There is no development expenditure in as far as the 15% is concerned. Unless you see a county just coming up with one project, small one, and then they applaud it, and everyone is really excited about it. The bottom line is, maths were done, and the reality was counties cannot survive on that. Whatever is going to counties belong to counties, because if you look at the Schedule 4 of the Constitution, we have functions that are county functions, and functions are followed by the money. So what the current proponents of the BBI Constitution Amendment Bill are saying, without 35%, counties will continue basically just surviving. Right. We need to give them resources so that they can implement the functions that they have that are provided for in the fourth schedule. Yeah. And that is basically it. And for Mheshimiwa Kakuya, we need to appreciate one thing. That money, that between the 15% and the 35%, the 20% remains with the national government. That is the money the president dishes out as conditional and unconditional grants. That is the money lying idle in parastatus for people to steal. That is actually the 50 billion that was added to the 317 that were meant to receive this financial year came from the conditional and unconditional grants that the president said, no, I'm not going to give you as conditional and unconditional grants. I'm going to give you as equitable share so that you make a determination on what you're going to do with. The rest is money that was lying in parastatus. He said, chunk of this money, I'm giving it to you so that you make decisions as a county on what you're going to do with it as equitable share. So let us be realistic. Let us not act as if we need to grow the economy for counties to get 35%. Bottom line is redistribution of the same resources that are there, moving it from where it's lying, being played games with, to where it's actually needed in counties. All right, well, gentlemen, it's as if we've already gotten into the discussion, and lots of questions are also coming in regards to this. But before we even delve deep into that, I do not know how we shifted from the car grants and everything, but then all the same, it's all this in the line of BBI. And you know, to some point, I would say that Mheshimiwa Kakuya is justified because, well, that time there was that declaration that MCAs are supposed to get the car grants. Many came out to say that it sounded like more of a bribe, in as much as it's something that they've been pushing for, and they got an opportune time to speak to the president about it. And probably the control of budget in a way has justified what their sentiments were, though it's just a matter of time, yeah? I don't think so. I think this was a process that was ongoing. And remember, when do teachers go on strike? Teachers go on strike when you need them, when exams are around the corner. Yes. You've seen doctors going on strike when we are dealing with COVID. People are dying.
And they know very well that
what is worse than people dying on a bed and you would have sorted them out, but you go on strike because there is a need that you are supposed to be dealing with, and it's been ignored, or the process has been delayed. I don't think the claim on the part of MCAs to get the car grant at a time like now is anything different from everything else that's going on in here. You saw the first thing my brother Kakuya talked about when we got on set is how fuel, he needs slightly more fuel, you know, to deal with the constituency that is, and I agree with him, he's dealing with a lot of Kenyans, residents in his constituency, so he needs slightly more facilitation, or at minimum, we need more constituencies for him, so other MPs can get into those constituencies and serve there. What is important to appreciate is that those two are not connected. And I think if we can be able to explain to Kenyans how this works, the controller of budget is the one who signs for the money to get out. And they must first confirm that whatever they are doing is grounded in law. What that letter to me was an internal discussion between the controller of budget and the Salaries and Administration Commission for guidance on how do we implement this. Now that these people have loans, they've been paying interest on the loans. Some have not even collected the loans, you know, in the first instance. How do we deal with this situation so that we do it in a proper way in as far as the law and the guidelines are concerned? That was seeking information from a colleague, an office that works, you know, collectively together. And I think they have come out and said, we are not opposed to the GAG grant. All we are saying, we need to do it in a proper way. And I don't think that can be disputed.
All right.
If you can allow me, I can just add a line on that and say, the law is very clear. There is no way you can convert car grant into car loan. It can't work. Legally, it can't work. So whoever has a car loan should take his car grant. Then it depends on him, because nobody will follow you to know whether you have bought the car or not. Because car grant is not money to repay, is a free money. And therefore, once you get that particular money, repay your car loans. Yes, don't mix the two. Yes, the other thing is that the budget controller has every right, because actually where we are, unless counties come with supplementary budgets, their current this financial budget is sealed. And unless they move back and refresh their budget, with what we call supplementary, it cannot be admissible to the current budget. And that is the only area the budget controller is talking about. Legally, you cannot, at this point, bring a new factor which is not factored in the budget. Yes, unless go back, come with a supplementary, and the procedure is admissible.
Proceed on that. And we'll be looking at details of the same. We follow up closely, get to know what then the fate would be of this conversation. Gentlemen, allow us to take a short break, and as we come back, we'll briefly look at the health sector and then get in depth, of course, now to the aspect of the BBI, because, well, your colleague, lost his life to cancer. That is one thing that we cannot fail to discuss. And we also just get to know as a nation how best can we be serious when we're talking on how best we can deal with these menace. Because, I mean, when we lose a life is when we actively are discussing this. But before you know it, we get silent as if nothing ever happened. So we take that conversation after this break.
TV47, the home of untold stories.
Authentic, natural, planned. Transforming. Endless benefits. Slaty, purely Kenyan. Buy now on Jumia or Amazon.
Afisas, nina criminal ameniibia kitu kwa nyumba. Funga yetu ende ofisa. Fande bufungua hapa. Simkule ka breakfast kidogo alafu twende. Simshakula evidence. Ati nini? Exhibit mumekula. Nichoripiwa? Sinijia alikuwa ameiba. Tumekula exhibit.
Selector. The difference is in the taste. Go big and live stream Premier League, La Liga, major marathons and more from SuperSport, plus the biggest Maisha Magic series, blockbusters and kids shows. Go big for less and get Showmax Pro Mobile with 30 gigs telecom data included. That's up to 10 hours a day of the best sport, series, movies and kids shows. Watch for just 1,200 Kenya shillings per month with the Showmax Pro Mobile subscription and 30 gigs telecom data at one great price. To sign up, dial *544# or go to showmax.com/telcom.
Finca Properties Limited introducing Equator Gardens Phase 2 Nanyuki, a few minutes drive from Nanyuki town near Olpajeta Conservancy. This is a strategic property offering a homely serene environment with nearby schools, hospitals, with a space for children playground and kindergarten. Invest today with a cash offer price of 200,000 for 50 by 100 plot and a discounted price of 350,000 for 100 by 100 plot of land. Legal fees and transfer costs inclusive. This is a gated control development property with water and electricity on site. We offer free site visit every Wednesday and Saturday. Visit our offices in Kitengela Pena Towers first floor. Contact us on 0721 737300 or SMS the word plot to 40309. Title deeds are ready. Finca Properties Limited. Prime and affordable.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
This new year, we are about to take things to the next level.
Things are about to get cray-cray.
Whoa, okay.
And that's important because
when you upgrade your package, DStv will step you up to the next highest package.
That's a lot.
Yo. Step up to more of the quality sport, movies, series, local, and kids shows. Upgrade your DStv package from the 14th of January and get stepped up to the next highest package.
Welcome to the exciting world of M-Truck Solutions, your trusted provider for bulk SMSs. We also offer API integrations for all your communication and payment needs. We also provide you with tailor-made payment getaway solution to receive and disburse cash quickly, affordable and securely. Let us expand your reach and connectivity on USSD, SMS and voice today. Call us on 0723 030 030 or email hello@mtruck.limited.co.ke. For more details, visit our website www.mtrucklimited.co.ke.
are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back to the broadcast. I see you interacting with us on our social media platforms. I'll get to sample some of the comments as we proceed with the show. But important to note is that we still have the gentleman on board, governance expert Charles Munyoi. Good to have you. And we have Honorable Kasim Tandao, who's also the Member of Parliament, Matuge constituency, and Member of Parliament in Bakassi North, Honorable James Gakuya, as we get to proceed with the conversation. Before we get to the BBI aspect and we understand the nitty details, because it is evident that we are headed for a referendum, Ministry's race against time to fly in vaccine. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. One, lots of fears, lots of questions as to just how genuine these processes will be and who is going to get the vaccine first, and whether indeed we are going to have a proper process in terms of the procurements and all that, as opposed to what we witnessed with the KEMSA scandal, and whether indeed, again, we're going to get the right vaccine in the first place.
Well, put it this way, this is a global issue, it's a global situation, and World Health Organization, in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and all other players, are really keen on this issue. And I think what we must do is play as little politics with this issue as possible, because our Kenyans are vulnerable. We know that they consume a lot of information on a daily basis, and any negative information in relation to this that is not founded on anything substantive can really mess the whole issue of the vaccine. Yeah. Importantly, it is not about the vaccine really, to me. It is the fact that Kenyans have gone back to their old ways of doing things. The moment the figures started going down, and we applauded, and we started now doing the countdown as to when all the curfews and all these restrictions are going to be lifted, Kenyans are back to normal. They're doing their things the normal way, and I think that's where the situation, we got to where we were, because to be honest, much as we have lost quite a number of lives, and every life is important, but Kenya has handled this in a better way than a lot of countries in this region and even in the rest of the world.
But we've slugged on how we've handled this, Mheshimiwa.
In fact, that's what I was saying.
Yes.
Even in terms of those people enforcing, I think we have a problem. The last time I checked, the county governments and the national government at the summit agreed they're going to work together on enforcement. I don't see the county askaris, the enforcement team, out there in the counties, in the shopping centers, in towns, ensuring people are wearing masks, people are keeping social distance, people are doing this and the other one that is recommended. Clubs now operating like everything is normal. People are huddled together, just drinking and doing their thing, merrymaking and even having fun. And I think that is the biggest challenge right there. If the national government does not work properly with the county governments on how to enforce the regulations and protocols that were put in place, then we are going to find ourselves smack back to where we were. And remember, there's another strain that's going on. So if we allow this to go back, we might just slide back into, in terms of the gains that we had made.
Honorable Kasim, the numbers are up as of yesterday in comparison to what we witnessed in the past 1 month or so. The situation is not even getting better somewhere in Tanzania.
Well, I think I will restrict my comments really to our dear country.
Okay.
But before I go to comment on the issue of the numbers, the issue of the vaccine, Linda, to me has two aspects. It's going to be shipped via JKA, I suppose. Yeah. This is the same JKA where a whole plane load of donations related to COVID disappeared. It really surprises me how this vaccine will land in Kenya and actually end up in the right places.
Right.
Our CS, able CS, Mutahi Kagwe, I remember at one time on national TV telling Kenyans that there are cartels in this building, very big cartels in this building. And I'm yet to be updated where those cartels went. They are still there. And now we are talking of bringing in vaccines. And these are very expensive. Remember, the previous vaccines, we can talk about polio and whatever, they are free. This time, unfortunately, I'm informed that they are not going to be administered free.
Yes.
And that, again, that is the next challenge. We are looking at the most vulnerable Kenyans right now in these COVID situations. Where are they going to get the money? Are we saying that we want to preserve the high class, the mighty, and the others can perish away? This is also very sad. So before they land, hopefully land safely, and be protected this time, minus the cartels. CS will update us on this. How will the ordinary Kenyan be able to pay for this vaccine? About the issue of the regulations, I think I'll only summarize it in that at one time we were told that Kenyans have peculiar habits. And this is about Kenyans. It's not about the ordinary mwananchi, because even us leaders, I'm surprised the governance expert talks about the enforcement. The leaders themselves, you see, those, the governors, the members of parliament, name it, even in churches where the people are not observing this. And surely it will be wrong now to blame the enforcement officers when the top leaders themselves who are supposed also to enhance, they're not following. So I think these are the peculiar habits at one time we have to live with. But at one point, we need to agree that the COVID is with us. It's a reality. We need to take care of ourselves. It's a personal responsibility. Beyond that, I cannot see a situation where we're going to have enforcement officer everywhere. You know, this goes up to the village. It goes up to the home level. I can't see that happen. And I'm glad to know that, of course, the media is doing a very great job in terms of informing people. But at the end of the day, it is a personal decision.
Indeed, it is a personal decision. A constituency that holds about 500, constituencies, you even ask yourself from the word go, did we get it wrong? Did we, set up rules that really were not realistic in the first place, Honorable Gakuya? Because, I mean, even go to the slum areas in Nairobi, this talk of social distance, this talk of wearing masks and everything, honestly, it's something that was never realistic. Go to the rural areas that will tell you that I don't know how many people in Matuga would literally be walking around with masks. Probably they do not do it at all. So would we genuinely attribute this to laxity on how we have taken up the measures?
Oh, thank you, Linda. First and foremost, Linda, let me say that allow me first to make my personal condolences to my great friend, Honorable Munywa Waitito.
Yes.
I lost a very good friend of mine, and through this cancer. And therefore, it tells me there are also other serious and dangerous viruses like cancer, which lead, because by this particular parliament only, we have lost at this point, I think if it's not 3, 4, 5 number, and it's a very big number comparing with the last parliament. And I would say, yes, as we take precautions to COVID, let us also have a think tank to think on how do we deal with also this menace of cancer viruses. Because surely it's also another coming up serious disease that actually, once it touches you, to survive is very minimal percentage. In the area to do with the COVID, I would say that God is with us. Because if you consider the city of the Nairobi, the way it is, and during those critical moments, our children had been praying everywhere together when they were out of the schools. And let me tell you, nobody will cheat you that these students were wearing any single mask. And I will say, it is by God's grace that actually we are where we are. And this particular menace did not clear, especially our informal areas. And especially in these cities we live in. Yeah. And therefore, when these things were, data were being read, every single day I was watching, how is my constituency performing in this one? Because I have those informal sector. But I tell you, we tried to assist them in every other manner. But surely we could not be able to facilitate every single person who could not be able to manage to buy that mask to provide it with. Yeah. And the government was unable to do so. Therefore, I would tell you that surely in one or another, I would say there is what we call God's mercy, which clearly was the protector of his mask.
All right.
And number two, let me say, it is not a point to say that we are off the hook. Let me also advise my fellow Kenyans that this monster is still here with us. It is still within our midst, because this virus does not work, but we just work with it. And therefore, that particular danger is still there, and it has not gone. What it has done is that we have seen a nosedive of the coming up of those viruses due to the kind of precaution probably the government took. And this is at this point what I would say, elements to do with what we call vaccines is not a matter to discuss. The government should put what we call clear measures, allow other private entities also to bring in this vaccine. Because if you say that actually it's the government we shall rely with, the government to buy on behalf, and then come and give us what we call conditionalities of who should get it, who should not. We need availability of this vaccine all over, so that one can be able to decide whether to go for it if you have cash. Because we are not all dependent on free things.
Right.
There are people who are capable to go and buy that particular vaccine. So for the purpose of that, there's the government put mechanism where the other players will come in and bring in this vaccine. Right. Let it be available. Let every single have a choice whether to go for the free or whether to go for it to buy.
I'm having a problem with my colleague here when he says that people should be free to either pay for. The majority of Kenyans cannot afford, and I think this should be understood.
So it shouldn't be a payment factor.
It should be a payment factor, you know. The majority of Kenyans can't afford. The majority of those who can't afford are the ones who are most vulnerable.
Right.
You see, if should they just catch a cough, they cannot afford even the normal medication for a normal cough, and later on probably develop to corona. So
to me, I am trying to get myself back to memory lane and just look at how we handled the aspect of COVID-19 when it came in. And I remember the first times I was covering this, was told that for you to get to be tested, you have to pay about 10,000 bob or so to speak. Before we knew it, it wasn't even a month. There were places where you could be tested free. The mass testing that was conducted across. I would just love to understand, what is this one thing that would shift the payment from 10,000 to that level of it being free? And probably would such be incorporated in this vaccine scenario?
But you realize even when they're saying they're going to do the free testing, they only did a pilot, I think in Kawangware and a few places. I cannot remember anywhere in costs where I come from, where they did this. And of course, to me, it was also impracticable to say that you are going to test about 50 million Kenyans, you see, in what time frame?
But every time they give us data, they give us numbers. As of yesterday, we had numbers.
Yeah, but you see, me as a mathematician, so to speak, I have problems with the way they actually give those numbers. Because to me, when you tell me today it's 100, tomorrow it's 200, and you say it has risen, I don't think that is a measure of, to me, what really would matter is the percentage. Yeah.
Which in most cases they do actually. They also give
but
they give
most
the numbers,
Kenyans don't actually
understand
the percentage. They understand the numbers. So like if they are told it's 500, they say now it has gone up. And yet it could have gone down in terms of the percentage. So I think here Kenyans should also be educated in terms of when it is going. I even don't agree that at one point it actually went down. At that particular point, I think we moved from testing over 10,000 samples within 24 hours. And it went down to, to 2,000. At one point it was 2,000.
Right.
And then we are saying now it has gone down. I think that has not been the reality. But overall, we need to take personal responsibility. If this vaccine is available, my prayer is that let it land in safe hands this time, not the KEMSA scandal. Let it not disappear. Let it be free, because that is the only way it's going to help. Because even if I'm vaccinated, and of course as a leader I'll always be out there. Over the weekend I'll be in Shimba Hills. I'll be meeting the same people. They're not vaccinated. How safe am I? You see, that I will not be affected.
Because after all, we are all trying this for the first time.
Yeah, we're all trying this for the first time. So to me, I think before it is brought, can the ministry, can the government, of course I know as parliamentarians will be very ready to appropriate monies if it is going to the ordinary mwananchi. We can slash on other luxurious sectors, but make sure that it becomes free.
Well, let's put this.
Linda, a quick one.
And briefly also address
and I'll
this
talk
aspect
about
of
cancer also. And my condolences to my friend Wakape. The thing is, even if you test 2,000 and you're told 5% have COVID, it's 5% of 2,000. If you test 10,000 and 5% of 10,000 is 5,000. And we are looking at the percentage, because there's a percentage that informs the decisions that we make thereafter. It's not really the number of figures. And remember, initially when we started this, We used to pick everyone. If you've been in contact with someone who has COVID, we used to pick you in the street and take you to isolation and all that. And that started overwhelming the facilities that we have.
Yeah.
So we slowed down on that and started looking at home-based care, where if you have no symptoms, or if if the symptoms are minor, then you even treat yourself at home. But you get tested in the first instance, because there's a reason as to why you felt like something was wrong with you. And that is how our facilities, medical facilities, never got overwhelmed, because we adopted that particular style, and it has worked very well for us. So I think our brothers here, my brothers here, the two of them, because they're parliamentarians, they can comfortably invite the Minister for Health through the committees and have a discussion around this vaccine issue, have a discussion around the percentages that we're talking about, have a discussion around the surge that we're talking about, the kids that we're talking about that are in school and all those things, and especially now that the weather has changed.
Yeah.
And remember, Europe and the Americas, the reason as to why they are really badly hurt by the COVID is because of the weather over there.
Yeah.
So I think they need to help us as Kenyans out there. Me, I tried vying in Kiambaa and I flopped miserably. So
So
my election mine was not stolen. I just lost terribly.
Okay.
So them, they're in Bunge. They can be able to help us understand what's going on, unravel. Have Mutahi give a statement on Mheshimiwa Mutahi give a statement on this issue, so that Kenyans can rest easy. In terms of cancer, I think the National Cancer Center, and again, I put this rightly in the hands of our members of parliament. We need to know why the National Cancer Center is not fully functional like it should be. What kind of funding do they get? Because issues prevention, issues even on advice on what needs to be eaten out there, issues on in terms of food safety, what we are having. These are issues, preemptive issues that we need to have out there. We need to understand, even those people that are opposing BBI and strengthening or devolution, where our hospitals out there, national government only manages 4 hospitals, the National Referral Hospitals. There are 3 of them. I think Eldoret, Kenyatta 1 and Kenyatta University Hospital. There are 3 of them. All the other hospitals are county government hospitals. Screening should be happening at the lowest level in this country, so that the moment something does not feel right, or you feel like you just want to go and get screened, that facility out there nearest to you should be able to do that. The problem with this country is that people end up visiting oncologists, who are very few, by the way, in this country. And that is something else that needs to be looked at, brain drain. I don't know, we don't have oncologists. We only go to hospital when we are not well, when things are not okay. So the aspect of preventive ways, by way of what we consume, what we should not be consuming, the aspect of screening, that should be devolved seriously, so that the next facility that you have, county-run facility, should be able to do screening, so that a lot of other things, because if cancer is discovered in good time, there are very high possibilities that it will be sorted out in good time.
Indeed.
And Leader, maybe just to underline on that, let us not forget that actually we have a big problem. Yes, there are elements to do with our eating conditionalities. Actually, it's an issue first of all, to deal with this particular aspect. But Leader, are we really don't we consider that actually we have a big mass out there who cannot even manage to get a single meal a day?
Yeah.
How are they going to survive? Who is caring for them? Who will give them? Who will just? How are we going to fix them in this particular arrangement of food eating habit?
Yeah.
Yes. Are we going to be? Because surely, I'm just taking myself to the foot of somebody who is in Malaria now, who is just sleeping in a cotton kind of, we call them charities. Yeah. That fellow in the morning, do you think on how to look for mafuta? Anything, even though it is agideri with not single bean, that is what you just address to just make his day. So in terms of those areas, I don't know how the
Kenyans can rarely afford 3 meals a
surely,
day.
as much as we need their good health, who will subsidy their deficits?
Wow, lots of questions arising. I mean, the leadership, again, is where, we'll put all this blame.
Yeah, my condolences to the late Honorable. It is sad to lose a member of parliament. In fact, us from Coast, we normally like joking around. So one of my colleague, my friend from Coast, actually telephoned me and told me, Mheshimiwa, I think it's high you left the bunge. So many of you now, it's like you are targeted in that house. And it's very sad because within this period, we've quite lost a number. I think this is the time we've lost the highest number of lawmakers in any single session. But having said that, for the last 3 years, so I've been in Parliament, we've had debates, motions on cancer, specifically on cancer, not less than 5 of them. And we've given them enough input, enough ideas. The expert here taking it to us, I will put it that we've done our best in terms of tabling motions, especially to deal with cancer. It's a monster. It only appears to be there when maybe a leader or an MP maybe loses his life. But people are losing their lives daily, even in the villages through cancer, you know. And we've given all the measures that the ministry should take. But of course, it all boils down to the executive when it comes down to implementation. We all know that we always take our priorities, we get our priorities wrong. At every corner, you know, we take our priorities wrong. And when you talk about losing 2 billion every day through corruption, you see, this is money that I think is more than enough to tackle the issue of cancer right from the village level. And as far as I know, it starts with screening, early detection, and that is where we can't afford it. And yet, I believe with the right priorities, we have enough money in this country to take care of that menace.
All right. Well,
and therefore, this tells you the government must be very firm and deal prudently in issue to do with healthy sector. Because unless you have free services so that you assist that forgotten society down there, there's no way that fellow will be able to reach the hospital if it is charged. There's no way he can access services if it is charged. Because the pockets are empty. How do they cope with it?
All right. Well, I want to loop that conversation with this one of the BBI, which is a conversation of the day. We've pushed it a bit too far, but all the same, we're here. The passage of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020, that is across the county assemblies, marked a major milestone, one for President Uhuru Kenyatta and Right Honorable Raila Odinga, in regards to their efforts to sway next year's presidential succession, that is in favor and cement their legacies in favor of them. So as we talk about this, the conversation of the BBI is one that has been castigated based on the fact that the dissenting voices have argued that maybe, yes, this could be a good conversation to have, but then again, we have misplaced priorities because there are other crucial issues that need to be addressed in the country as opposed to us focusing on this. The question of money is at hand. We just ask ourselves, how expensive is this process going to be? I mean, how expensive will it be for us to go for a referendum? IEBC set to meet the House Committee to explain this and all that. A process that is almost halfway done, yet we do not have clear, picture or a clear picture as to how much it will cost us, as to whether it was necessary to have this conversation now or shelve it for a moment and address the issues that are of priority. You speak of priorities, and the dissenting voices would argue that BBI is not a priority now.
BBI is a priority more than anything else. If we consider that in about 1.5 years' time, we'll be going for a general election. Linda and our viewers, and those who are saying it's not a priority, would we be happy to have those conflicts after every 5 years, given now that it's only 1.5 years to a general election?
How much of a guarantee does the BBI have in terms of addressing animosity?
I will not say there's 100% guarantee, but I think it is always agreed that it is only a madman who keeps doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result. We've been having the same scenario in terms of the top leadership, and we've been having these conflicts. This is something different we want to try. Can we now decentralize? Can we distribute power at the top? If that is the main issue. I'm not saying it's 100%, but at least it's something different, which gives me hope that we can get a different result this time. Otherwise, it has been proven that remaining with the same scenario, we are likely to have those conflicts. And what is the cost of the conflicts when it comes in every general election? We could be talking about 14 billion, 20 billion, talk of 100 billion, but lives lost. What is the cost of losing a life? Even the economy itself, what is the cost? of moving from an economic growth of about 7% in 2007 to almost zero. What is that cost? And then somebody talks of 14 million being too much or 20 million being too much. Look at the lives lost. If this amendment will guarantee us, will give us a break from the conflicts on every 5 years, to me, that is a cost that I don't think can really be equated to any other thing.
All right. Well, the bill is instrumental in terms of addressing the issues of the common mwananchi. Yeah. We do not speak of this particular bill without mentioning the key figures. And so, as I started by saying, it is quite a great milestone for these gentlemen in regards to how best they will shape what will play out of the presidential succession come 2022. What does this BBI, success mean to President Uhuru Kenyatta, to Right Honorable Raila Odinga, to the DP, and the other key leaders that sit at the top of the helm? You must be knowing them. Some of them are not in government. Some of them are not, were not elected anywhere. But we always see them left, right, and center speaking and projecting the importance of this document.
I think the picture that is out there is one of individuals, proponents of this bill, or promoters of BBI generally, chest thumping and feeling very happy that they have won. And that's not it. I think that needs to be removed from the minds of the average Kenyan. Yeah. What is happening is there were 9 key issues that were looked at by the 2 individuals. Actually now 3, because we realized belatedly that William Ruto, His Excellency, was part of this. He contributed 3 members to the steering committee, and he has never disputed that particular fact. And they went around looking at how those 9 issues can be resolved, the ones my brother is talking about. Every time we are fighting, every 5 years we have elections, we are fighting. The feeling that you do not belong. Mount Kenya region feeling like they are underrepresented. Gakuya here is witness to the same, saying populous constituencies have, are not happy with what the resources that they have to deal with the issues that they have. So there were all these issues, and especially strengthened devolution, because Kibaki time, His Excellency Kibaki time, he was controlling 100% of national revenue. And everything that we collect, he was controlling it. He would decide, wake up in the morning, decide we're going to do Thika Road, we're going to do Garissa, some small road out there. Yeah. But after devolution, which the president has managed well, 15% every financial year guaranteed has been going to counties, and you've seen counties rising, counties looking different, counties that never used to have any manner of development having that with the mega 15%. And what the 3 individuals realized that if we can increase the amount of resources going to counties against the backdrop of when we devolved, we give functions to counties, and functions are supposed to be followed by the money, but the money we are giving to counties, guaranteed figures that we're giving to counties, that is not dependent on the benevolence of any individual, is not sufficient. So why don't we give them slightly more? So these are the fundamentals of what is happening with BBI. So my take is His Excellency the President, His Excellency Raila Odinga, who have come out very clearly on how they support BBI and are actually campaigning for it, are happy that one hurdle, the county, remember we had Punguza Mzigo that went up to the county assemblies, and then at that point it did not go beyond there. Luckily, even Punguza Mzigo now, by way of is incorporated in the BBI, and they gave their version of the things that they need captured. And remember, at Bomas, the version of the bill to amend the constitution that was at Bomas was changed, because it's only at the point where it's handed to IEBC after it's approved by 1 million individuals that it cannot be changed. But at Bomas, there were some things that were changed, including instead of multiple member constituencies, we ended up with constituencies, actually delimitation. So all these things. And then, after looking at all these things, including the aspect of the increased number of constituencies by 70, my friend here of here was talking about IBC being allowed to delimit and as provided for in Article 89 to give us slightly more constituencies. The bottom line is, and this is something Kenyans need to know, IBC cannot increase or reduce the number of constituencies without going through a process of a referendum. There must be a bill that changes Article 89 so that
it can adjust the
numbers. Otherwise, the only thing IBC can do now, much as we are within the limit of time frame where we can do delimitation, is change the boundaries and the names of constituencies, and it can also change the numbers of wards and the boundaries of wards and the names of votes. Otherwise, it cannot touch, increase or reduce the number. So this bill provides for that way of amending Article 89 to the extent that now we can change the numbers. So it was important to take it to a referendum, and that is the bottom line. So this handle has been taken. The next handle, we have seen again a very beautiful thing. We've seen public participation. We have even seen individuals going literally, taking Article 1 of the Constitution on all sovereign authority belonging to them, literally walking into assemblies and sitting in the assemblies to listen in and make contributions and celebrate therein outside. So I think what is going on in this country is a change in the way things are done. People are participating literally on these issues, and I'm thinking, even when now I'm sure all the certificates will be with the National Assembly and Senate later today. When they receive them, we want to see that same process. People driven, where people can actually now look, the average person out there can feel this is a process that belongs to them.
All right, Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, who's a close ally of Deputy President William Ruto, poured cold water on the excitement that was there yesterday. He says, why are BBI promoters excited and overjoyed when you are running on your own? How are you celebrating that you won? I mean, yet, of course, evidently, there was no one that you were racing against. And this probably could justify the argument that they were trying to project. The fact that they said it's okay, we really do not, oppose of the document as it is. We only say that maybe it's not the right time. But even if it is the right time, then we should have, a conversation, a robust conversation that cuts across, that allows every other person to say, this is how we should go about it. Eventually, they even came up with a proposal of let's have the multiple choices, because in this particular document, we cannot agree to everything. But there are also other crucial things that we would not want to just wash away, by going out there at the ballot and declaring it as, null and void, literally saying it's a no for this particular document. So how then would we work on this? Why is it so hard to come into such an agreement where we can say, well, on this one of review of the boundaries, which I think Mheshimiwa would agree to, because initially he was speaking of his constituency holding about 500 people in comparison to yours that could be holding about 100, 200 individuals.
Thank you, Linda. I think in a constitution, it takes care of everybody. And here I'll be speaking on behalf of the marginalized counties where I come from. There are some areas, like if I discuss with the Honorable Gekuya here on the issue of equalization fund, he'll tell me outrightly, and I've had this discussion with other members from the Mount Kenya region, they tell us, no, you are not marginalized, you are only lazy. And all along, since independence, we know funds have not been following the activities. Funds have been following where the president comes from. And since independence, we've had a president from Mount Kenya, we've had a president from Rift Valley, and now a president from Mount Kenya. So for them, they think nobody is marginalized. I tell them, look, are you aware in this country that there are some areas where people saw tarmac, a whole county saw tarmac for the first time, courtesy of devolution? They are just lazy. They would have pulled their resources and put them ago.
But people argue that even in Gatundu it's not all rosy. Two presidents have come from there, yet Gatundu is not looking so good as maybe they would have expected.
Maybe they are comparing Gatundu with Embakasi, or comparing Gatundu with probably another constituency there. But would you compare Gatundu with a constituency in Turkana? Would you compare Gatundu with my constituency, for instance? Definitely. In my own constituency, which has been in existence since independence, I have only 16 kilometers of tarmac. In the whole county of Kwale, courtesy of devolution, we have 2 ICU beds. We've never had an ICU bed in a whole county. In Gatundu, in Kiambu, how many referral hospitals do they have? So that is the problem. If a multiple choice question is put, definitely we'll lose equalization fund. Will definitely lose the powers which we want to reinstate to the National Land Commission in terms of addressing issues of historical injustices.
Why do you suppose you would lose it? I mean,
because the beneficiaries are the majority of the beneficiaries of those inequalities, of those injustices, are those who are in power. They are those who are now the majority. You cannot compare the marginalized MPs to those who come from not marginalized areas. So to me, the constitution should be able to cater for everybody, even take care of those who know we can't raise the numbers. But it is good for this country. This country is a much better place if everybody feels he's being treated equally. And therefore, the issue of multiple choice, to me, is neither here nor there. To issue multiple choice was like when they knew they cannot stop the issue in terms of stopping the BBI, the amendment, then they were trying to put in some brakes. Remember, Linda, I think these are the same people who are opposed even into the current constitution. In fact, I wonder if somebody was opposed to this current constitution, what motivates that person now to say he wants to remain with this constitution, which initially he didn't want?
Okay.
You see, it really
Mheshimiwa, let me ask this. I mean, they say whichever way the referendum goes, Ruto will benefit. Now let's discuss him, because then he's the key person who probably was against the current constitution as it stands. So, I mean, in this particular scenario, why would you be opposed of a document that would probably be beneficial? And when you look at the other side, where in the sense that if it sails through, you know, the worst that can happen is the fact that, well, probably he would look like he does not have the stamina and the control as maybe would expected for him to gain a presidency. But in the event that it sails through, there are a couple of other things. There are very many things that he stands to benefit, you know, tangible things that would be long-term and for that matter. So why would he oppose of it? Why would you back him in, you know, going against the conversation of a referendum as at now? Because you say that, well, you really do not have a problem with it, but the fact that maybe it has not had a robust conversation is why you decide that, well, you will neither be no or yes, but you will run other activities in the country overlooking that.
Rita, thank you very much. In the first place, allow me to say that actually every single Kenyan is well protected by the Constitution, and there is an element of fundamental rights. This country is a democratic country where divergent views is not a criminal. Divergent views means that we are friends, but we can diverge in terms of opinions. And therefore, that's why we have a room to choose yes or no. And choosing yes or no does not mean whichever side you are, that you are totally wrong. Because surely, one first and foremost, you have a divergent view because of particular issues within such a particular cause. In this particular cause we are in, and this is the BBI we are talking about. One, we are talking of, yes, we will just, what's important is to create peace for this country, and especially during every after election. But my big question is it every Kenyan who brings fear, who brings trouble in this country after every 5 years? And if we are really moving to address that particular point, are we considering that this country does not belong to 5 communities? This country belongs to 42 number. Have we taken their interest in the element of executive, where that room will be able to accommodate every other single community in this particular country? Don't we think that actually we are bringing a trouble in future, where those other small communities are not considered in this particular element, who can also gather together? Yes, and come up and say, yes, you have created rooms for only 5 communities at the top. What about that? Where is our room?
What is the guarantee that these 5 communities will be the very same one? I mean, is it not going to open the ground even further?
Allow me to clear my point.
Okay.
This one you find it very clearly. We are moving to an election. And let me tell you, first and foremost, the anchors of this and the others of this, their big agenda is the succession matter. The succession matter. How can they create a grand coalition and make sure that they take the lead and win an election? That is once the first mission. And what you are going to see is that you are going to see a scenario where, just see who are in the picture now.
Yes.
You are seeing a picture in Western, yeah, number of 1 or 2. In Eastern, there is somebody. In Eritrea, there is somebody. And that is the cocoons that are going to be even in what we are heading.
Right.
But let me tell you, it will be unfortunate, Linda, to see a Bokomo in the picture, to see a Turkana in the picture, to see another forgotten community down there in the picture of this particular arrangement. In that particular case, you are telling us that if you accommodate those big communities and then they are satisfied, then the country is safe, and the country tomorrow has no issue to deal with in any other violence. The violence can be created by those who are not considered. And my taking this is to say that let us not keep creating what we call tribalism in this country. Let us not tribalize countries any longer. Create a nation which is free for everybody, or which can
and true to it, tribalism is what it is.
Linda,
let me just mention
and
this.
If you can allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Allow me to very brief. Very brief. No, order. You have given this fellow twice when I was silent here.
Okay.
Yes. No, allow me also to give my views.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to say this. If we are not hypocritical, we are not hypocrites in this, and we are very sincere with what we are doing, let us see accommodation or in this element of grand coalitions that are hearing, accommodating those others. Those are not part of those big chunk of communities. Okay. That one, you tell me, really, we are talking of a united Kenya. That one, I will make a tick. Number two, leave about that element of executive. Let us come now to the clear point of where we are moving as a nation. We are telling this country that, yes, at the point we are, yes, we know some particular constituencies are overburdened, and we cannot be able to assist Wanjiku down there. The bursary down there in my constituency probably will serve a student with only 5,000, when another student is also getting 100,000 in a single particular year. Don't we have other mechanisms within ourselves how equitably we can share this cake?
Okay.
Does it mean that we must go to BBI
all right.
to bring
Linda, I think
that can be able to accommodate every other single Wajiku to be equitable with another? We have what we call a sharing formula, which has taken our Senate nine postponement of sittings. At the end of the day, it's like whatever formula was brought was a formula that is not either here nor there.
Okay.
What prevented the authors of BBI to whip their members in the Senate to give Kenyans that particular element in that clear way? Okay. Yes.
If
we are not hypocrites,
Linda, as you allow Mheshimiwa to take a cup of water.
Yes.
Because I'm sure he's out of breath.
All right.
We need to calm down and be real. NASA, Pentagon did not require an amendment to the Constitution for individuals that gatekeepers in their respective communities to come together and form the grand coalitions.
Right.
Jubilee, the party with the largest number of members of parliament, both in the Senate and National Assembly, did not require an amendment to the Constitution for them to become a political party, and subsequently a coalition, KANU coming in and other parties coming in, for them to form a grand coalition. You did not amend the Constitution. So I think what my brother is saying here is null and void, and let us be realistic. The issue here is, first and foremost, my brother, the issue of healing, that there are only two individuals that come at the top. If you look at elections from whichever year, in this country, there is only number one and number two. Number three is usually what is called a distant third. Number two represents the interest of literally just about everyone else. Number one represents the interest of the majority. They come together and decide this is the person. So when number two is nowhere in the scene, after elections, you cannot see them because they are dumped back to the villages. Yes. They are not even in parliament. What is the interest? How do the people that have been following that number two feel? So when you create the position of official leader of opposition through an amendment to the Constitution, where they have a position in parliament where they can be able to tell our people, this is what we wanted to implement. Now, these are the guys who have won. We are here with a shadow cabinet to ensure these guys perform. Okay. And then we can be able to have a platform through which we can prove ourselves for 5 years so that you give us this seat. That is how this gets healed. Because if this was there, Raila would not have sworn himself in. Why would he swear himself in as a people's president?
Yet he has money.
Not even money. He is going to be sworn in as a member of parliament, an official leader of opposition with facilitation to run a cabinet, a shadow cabinet. Would that really have happened? Do you think we'd have had these street fights and everything? So when you're talking about these issues, let us not get excited and act out. We are members of society that are, looked upon. We are on national television here. This is not the time to just talk about this issue. Number two.
Let me finish.
Allow me. It's the same thing. It's the same issue. Let me finish. Because it's not fair. You cannot interject. Let me finish. Then you can interject on everything.
Allow him to finish.
Because it is very brief. If you would listen, the amount of money we are sending to counties, we want counties to be self-reliant. My brother here has talked about tarmac that has been brought by the county government. If the county government is strong enough, many an individual back there in the rural areas will not be worried a lot about who the president is, who the prime minister is, who is that. And that arrangement is going to be there. Because if you look at the functions that are domiciled in counties, they are the most critical functions. Where education starts, ECDs, domiciled in counties. Nothing stops a governor from having the best ECD facility in the country so that kids can start moving from private facilities to public facilities where literally nothing is being paid for. With a lunch program, with transport. When you look at agriculture, food security, domiciled in county governments. If you look at health, literally just about all health I was talking about here, those stadiums that we are talking about are supposed to be done by counties. Mortuaries, all those things are, even fresh market produce markets, they are supposed to be county government. If those things are functional, the things that we are looking for right now, and with the infrastructure that the national government is putting in place right now, the person down there in the rural areas will start feeling like, actually there is a government working for me. I do not have to protect this money. Precisely, you need to have a mechanism, a constitutional mechanism. And let me finish by saying, Article 257 of the Constitution on amending the constitution through a popular initiative does not provide for multiple questions. That is a fact, and you'll put it up here. The Elections Act that our brothers here need to work on is the one that has provided for multiple questions, because you don't only go for a referendum because you want to amend the constitution. There are a lot of issues you can go to a referendum on. Article 257 is clear. This is a bill that belongs to Junet Mohammed, never mind where it came from. It belongs to Junet Mohammed and Dennis Waweru right now. And they have gotten 1 million supporters. They've taken it to IBC as is going to county assemblies as is coming to these gentlemen. They cannot amend a comma or anything in that bill. They are going to debate it and vote on it as is going to IBC. IBC cannot be given powers to take everything away from MCAs, from 1 million individuals, from our members of National Assembly and Senate, and then they come and bring in questions, and you are
is too late to speak of the multiple
choices. No, not even that. It's not even about being late. It is a confusion that is created when you read Article 257 against the Elections Act that provides for multiple questions, IBC coming up with multiple questions approved by the National Assembly.
But in the best interest of the common Mwananchi, there are times when you seek advisory on such.
This bill as is, and I'm sure it will get there, is supposed to be voted for as is, and that's what Article 257 says. And by the way, the Constitution is superior to any other law.
Leader, one minute before I just wanted to have 1 minute and problem, just putting a question to Mheshimiwa Gakuya anyway, so he'll have more to speak about. I think every Kenyan, including himself, knows that after every election, there is chaos in this country. And it affects the ordinary Mwananchi. It really doesn't affect the Washimiwas. I'm yet to know if maybe my memory doesn't serve me right, whether we've lost any Mheshimiwa through the electoral violence. It is the ordinary Mwananchi. Now, he says he would agree to the amendment if this one will take the Pokomos and the Chamos and whatever into those two positions. Very well, I know it will give me an opportunity. But how would you achieve that without expanding the executive? Even though, the problem with them is that they are thinking these positions are just for Tandaza. They are putting names into it. And I think that is the problem with the BBI, with the opposers. They are like shooting down the messenger, not the message. Because when you go to the message, they agree that there is a problem and you need to fix it. But now they are looking at the messengers. Now, I'm putting it to you, Mheshimiwa. How would you, in your view, bring in the marginalized into those top positions without expanding the executive?
Leader, I just want to take my panelists back to where we have come from. The position they are arguing about was a creation of multi-party. And when the multi-party scheme landed in 1992 here in this country, and the Section 2A was repealed, actually it created that position of what we call leader of opposition. We had Matiba as the first one. And Kibaki came, and then Uhuru came, and so on. Until 2007, when the Rusa actually there was a package of that particular position. But he never went for it. He went for the fire. And that's what a guarantee we have.
That means what is the guarantee?
What guarantee we have that the BBI addressing us and giving back that position, because that particular position was ruled out by the current constitution. And let me tell you, reader, why it was ruled? Because of hypocrisy. Because people thought that now now that we have taken Ruto and Uhuru to Hague, the position for us is ripe, and therefore it's automatically we are going to achieve the presidency. But it failed. It turned against them, and that's why they are back to the same batching drums, finding another way of getting back through another window. Let me tell you, this country cannot be.
Linda, you're allowing
I think
because it's the only dissenting voices.
It's not about dissenting.
And the other thing, Linda, I want also to tell you, as we are talking of those minorities, it is very important to consider this country belongs to all of us. And in the table, or in the basket of taxes, every Kenyan is being taxed. Whoever. So every single Kenyan, does not matter whether you come from what community or where, you are Kenyan by right. Number two, what guarantee do we have in the BBI that Wanjiku, who is totally overburdened today by the current taxation, is not going to be affected by more taxes to implement this particular baggage?
Incorporating more leadership.
You see, those who oppose this document, unfortunately, I have asked him a very simple question. How will he make sure that the Pokomo, the whatever, the Njemos and whatever, will be at the top without expanding the existing?
And they are already addressed. This matter is addressed by the current constitution.
You need to protect us from Mheshimiwa Linda.
They keep on avoiding it because they have no solution. Now, put it correctly.
Linda, I have a solution.
Okay,
the current constitution has envisaged this.
We can
when
have
it created county government so that the resources can be able to go to.
And those are the county governments they are saying.
And leadership, every community down there can elect their governor. Who said that actually everybody should be at the national level?
He talks about the county governments and
he does not want them to strengthen.
Supposed to be taken there.
And he's saying that 5 is not available.
Those are resources. Those are resources, and Wanjiku need resources.
By the way, because we are on TV, I think it's important we allow Mheshimiwa here to talk, so that because Kenyans out there would like to hear what's going on in these studios, kindly. Yeah.
So the problem with those opposing the BBI is that they are opposing for the sake of opposing. You put a simple question and they will go round. If the current constitution addresses that, then we will not be having post-election violence. That is a very simple thing. If it does, then why do we keep having it? You see, it means there is something that needs to be done more than what is already there. Okay. If the current constitution allows the marginalized to be at the top, where are they? We will be seeing them now. They have not been there. So something different has to be done. And that is the problem. I wish our colleagues who are anti-BBI would go for the facts and also give us the alternative. Because as I initially said, madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Let's have a change, whichever way, and see. After that, if it doesn't work, the Constitution, of course, allows it to be amended and be re-amended and be re-amended. They have even said that if someone now gets the presidency, he'll change the Constitution within the first, did you say 100 days?
But you see now that is also...
Let me say something.
So I think Kenyans, especially as leaders, let's go for the facts. Let's not look at the messenger. Let's not be emotional. Let's go for the facts. And see how we can take this country forward.
Fact. Me, I like being factual. And Mheshimiwa will confirm. If he has read the BBI Constitution Amendment Bill 2020, it proposes that a part of the cabinet is members of parliament. And the constitution is very clear. You cannot earn 2 salaries if you are a state officer. So half of that cabinet is going to be members of parliament who are serving in parliament. So we save half of the amount of money we pay as salaries to cabinet. Benefits, thank you. Even the cabinet right now, they have allowances that they utilize. The Prime Minister himself is going to earn the salary of an MP because he's going to be a sitting MP in Parliament. He'll have to be elected as an MP. And even the Deputy Cabinet Prime Ministers. We have taken it further. The CEC members, the County Executive Committee members, the so-called ministers in counties, MCAs will be cabinet ministers in the counties, and they'll be earning the salary of an MCA, of course, with the subsequent the allowances that go to sitting cabinet ministers today. Is that not a saving? So when we keep on talking about this cost, and my brother Kakuya has said it rightfully, let us strengthen devolution. The same devolution they are saying, don't give them 35% because it's not going to be available. You know, you cannot eat your cake and have it in the same form. You can have it, but not necessarily. It cannot be in the same form. The moment you have eaten it, you have eaten it. We must decide, is it going to be 35%? Let me tell you what is going on in this country. Kibaki used to control 100%, President Kibaki, of national revenue. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the president currently, is controlling 85%. But he has provisions in the Constitution, Article 203, where he can give conditional and unconditional grants to counties. What is going to happen post passing of this bill? There will be no resources whatsoever for the president to be dishing out to counties to either endear himself or anything to that extent, because all the resources will be the counties that deserve to be the counties. There are people who have a problem with counties being strengthened to that effect. There are people who feel if they run this country with 65%, because parastatals literally will have to fold up, most of them, because the stuff you've had, all the issues of corruption that you've had, they are literally domiciled on these state corporations. You look around and you tell me, there are people who have a problem with the folding up of these facilities because that's where corruption happens. There are people who would want all the resources domiciled in the national government when they are meant for functions of county government, so that they can either be dishing out. You go to Kakamega, you go to Mumias, you give them 2 billion for purposes of improving on their sugar. You go to Meru, you give them 1 billion for purposes of their Miraa. You go to Kiambu, you say Cherry Fund or these other fund. If that is not available, there are people who would not feel comfortable running the affairs of this country. So that is the big issue right there. 35% going to counties, don't look further than that. That's why people are going multiple choice, so that they can pick this, drop the other one.
All right, and I'm curious to know whether there's anything that you agree.
Just a second. And I just want to...
And I hope it will be a second this time.
No, well, actually, there's a timekeeper. Allow the timekeeper to deal with it. Yes. Leader, what I want to say is that, in fact, let us not stand here and try to mislead Kenyans. Let us not mislead Kenyans in a manner that when you have a prime minister and deputy prime minister, you are not going to have what we call an increased church cars and increase security in the same person. Drivers will be also part of it.
Duale had the same vehicles. Kemunya has the same vehicles as the leader of majority.
Allow me to finish my
they have the security even today.
Just allow me to do that. Yes. What I want to say, we have this the same formula was here before, and actually during the National Accord, we tested this particular position of prime minister, and this country at some point. People are asking for red carpet and toilets.
That's different.
And let me tell you, it is in history. And let me tell you, it is not going to be any different tomorrow. Let us not tell Kenyans that actually there's no increased tax on that. Actually, the Kenyans will scratch more to facilitate those particular
if we have such and these gentlemen or ladies.
I am telling this leader, allow me just to finish and clarify this. Yes, it is true the Constitution at least talks about the member of parliament is not going to earn more. But let me tell you, allowances must be there.
But even ministers today are earning allowances. Even the cabinet today.
Why don't we talk?
Even the cabinet today is earning allowances.
Let us not sit down here.
Let us be real.
To mislead Kenyans that there's no any single extra cost.
But if it is extra and then we
how can it be extra? Even today they are getting it.
In any enterprise, in any enterprise, even in business, and I'm a businessman, I believe he is also there, we talk of cost-benefit analysis. I would ask, and I asked you this right from the beginning, what is the cost of that extra salary if it were to be there? That extra sitting allowance, if it is to be there, versus the benefit of tranquility in this country, plus the benefit of not losing a life in every 5 years. That is what our colleagues here should be able to appreciate. I would want to go back to where I started and actually misled Kenyans that we can now have a leader opposition in the current constitution. If we were in parliament, I would ask you as the speaker, is he in order to mislead us that we can have that position? He talked of Mwai Kibaki, he talked of Uhuru. Well, that was before the 2010 constitution, where those people you would lose, but still as a member of parliament, you will be in parliament and now lead your troops from inside. But the current constitution,
his argument was, well, I mean, there's really no guarantee that this individual who will come later on with this particular position will equally be as disciplined to ensure that they do not go and relent and cause the same havoc that they would in the current argument.
I think our colleague here has
explained that very well.
Explained it very well. You see, you'll actually create chaos because you have nowhere. But the moment that this current BBI amendment allows you officially to be having a title a post and you are inside the house, surely, why should you go and cause chaos?
Yes.
And yet you have an avenue of actually dealing with the problem that you think should be addressed. Because you can do bills, you can do motions, you can do, because you're in the house. The current constitution doesn't allow that. So
right.
in the current constitution, Mheshimiwa, we don't have the post of an official leader of opposition. And you should, if you are not aware, then can you be aware?
As we come to
read around, it is doable.
As we come to
it is doable without moving to referendum. Because surely, reader, assume that the current structure has a majority and minority in the House. You just only require to have an act of parliament, change that, and bring back what was there before.
All right.
Simple.
Okay. Well, let me read some of these reactions and then allow you to come in as we take it to a close. Yeah. Just how best can we have these conversations without having to, peg ourselves into our political alignments? Because according to Bartholomew Nyairiki, he argues that, well, Mheshimiwa, you are really aligning, you're having an argument based on your political alignment, which might not be objective in terms of us getting, results in regards to that. So, and I think it should be cutting across. This is something that has been there, is there up until date. Even the learned friends, you can tell that this is a person who would have argued otherwise. But because of their political alignment, then they take that direction. So how can we have such a conversation? Irungu Goko says the current recurrent expenditure is at 25, 15% is way below. This is actually, I think, something that came in earlier while we were starting the conversation. And of course, Abisai James is asking, what about the problems of division of revenue despite 35% being taken to the counties? That is also one thing. What then happens to the aspect of corruption? How do we ensure that there is accountability even as we take this 35% to the counties?
A quick one, I'll just go very quickly. Number one, first and foremost, Mheshimiwa Gakuya must admit that the cabinet ministers today enjoy allowances. So the moment you remove a salary from their pack, they are left with the allowances, then you've saved the country the salary of a cabinet minister. So when you have an MP serving as a cabinet minister, as being an MP, earning the salary of an MP, then you have saved on a salary. Forget about the allowance, because even today, current cabinet ministers are enjoying an allowance. When you talk about MCAs the same way, when you talk about a prime minister, being in parliament, it is different. He will tell you, he looks for the cabinet ministers, they have to look for them to come to committees. When you have a prime minister, the connection between the executive and the legislature is much easier. You can be able to deal with those issues, and that person will be there to respond on a one-to-one basis, on a daily basis, on matters arising relating to the issues of the issues these guys represent. The bottom line is, we are saying, and we must be consistent for the sake of Kenyans, the issue of expenditure, the issue of those things, the moment you tell Kenyans it's going to be very expensive, that is fodder for their ears, because they have been primed, they have been structured to hear those things and get very irritated and feel like now the end is coming. And you cannot be saying this is good, but this has to happen. When Mheshimiwa Akuya says, in order for those marginalized communities to be incorporated in government, then we need to strengthen devolution, but he says don't give them the 35%, then I think there is a contradiction right there. What we are saying is, let us be consistent, let us tell Kenyans the truth, let us tell Kenyans, for counties to get 35%, the economy does not have to grow by an inch. But of course, Article 11A that was applauded by no less a person than the Deputy President himself, he said the fun bit of the Constitution is Article 11A on how to grow the economy is provided for. But having said that, the economy does not have to grow by an inch for counties to receive what is due to counties, 35%.
All right, Mheshimiwa, as we close.
One, let me thank Kenyans as a whole, because if the Wanjiku Mheshimiwa keeps talking about was thinking like him, then they will not have passed this BBI in the counties, including the county that he comes from. So I don't know, Mheshimiwa, which Wanjiku is talking about. There was public participation in Nairobi, where he comes from. We passed also ours in Kwale County yesterday, though, and they said they wanted this amendment. Now, for somebody to come and say now he's talking for Wanjiku, and Wanjiku has up to yesterday pronounced themselves overwhelmingly that they want this amendment, I think they need to get another name for the person they are really bidding for. Certainly it's not Wanjiku. Kenyans really know what is good for them. They have passed the threshold at the county level. It's coming to the National Assembly. It is true. Whether we pass it or not, the referendum will be there. It is the same person who passed it at the grassroots, that is the county, that will be voting in the referendum. It's obvious that it's going to pass. Okay. So the Wanjiku is for this document, and it is really good for the country. We need to change, move forward. If there will be more changes, they will be welcome if they are good for this country. But I thank the Kenyans generally for going beyond personalities and looking at the document and pronouncing themselves on this matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, as we come to a close, ODM leader says that he is grateful that the members of the county assemblies, were able to go against the lies, misinformation, and due influence on a document whose centerpiece is ensuring prosperity, equitable sharing of resources, peace, prosperity. I have mentioned prosperity, inclusivity, stability, and all that. It is here. The document is sailing through, not necessarily at the level of the referendum. That we can only wait and see. What would you say about this? How then do we get to be objective as we close? Oh,
Rida, I would say yes. I have no problem with the majority's wish because it's democracy. And I would say my opinion cannot be belittled by anybody. It is well protected by the Constitution. And those of you who will feel that the bill is good for them, nobody will say it is bad for them. And therefore, they move to choose what they will decide for. And therefore, my take is, let Kenyan take his time, cast his vote. If it's yes, you have what you have said yes for. Tomorrow, I would personally, I will not be affected. Because really, he has just argued very well that I'm not talking for any Wanjiku, and Wanjiku has spoken. And I can tell you, Rida, whatever public possession went on was quite skewed, and money actually played cards. And I tell you, you cannot be able to buy every other Kenyan in cash. You cannot pocket them like the way you pocketed MCAs and the rest. Let me tell you, let us leave for the Kenyans to decide at the ballot. I will tell you, it's a democracy. Let those who are majority dictate their way. And those who will lose, but still will keep fighting for our rights.
There's still time to go through the document. There's still time to understand, internalize,
I wish there was 1 minute to ask him which right is this that he thinks he will continue fighting for. Just 1 minute.
Because we are taxpayers and we are feeling the pain.
How many times have we raised the taxes since
and we know where we are heading to.
Okay.
Kenyans are going to be fixed.
I think we need to go home, but I need to tell Mheshimiwa Gakuya, he's part of the reason as to why public participation does not have a law. Is he aware that BBI has actually proposed a law called Public Participation Bill that is coming to him for determination, so that now in future we can have proper public participation where the public participation rapporteur is domiciled at the Attorney General's office.
The law is there. The law came to the House, but because of hypocrisy, that law was dropped.
Will not sail through.
It was dropped.
Okay,
yes,
well, this is really gentlemen, thank you so much. Honorable James Gakuya, Member of Parliament, Embakasi North. Honorable Kasim Sawatandaza, Member of Parliament, Matuga constituency, and lastly, Charles Munyui, governance expert. It was good having you, and we close it at that. We are getting to matters, health, food, and all that. So we'll be doing some bit of cooking, but this is not, yes, nutrition is key. What it is that we started with, we say after all said and done, we have to be healthy, we have to eat well, so that at least we can also have the energy to have these kinds of debates. We are crossing over to Tipsy's Lounge in Suguta Road this morning, that is in Nairobi, and we'll be having the chef on board so that he can take us through some nice simple recipes that you can actually make while you are at home for breakfast, and generally something that you can get to entice your husband, your family, friends, and all that. So that should be after this short break.
The home of untold stories.
Looking for the smoothest writing pen with an excellent grip and long-lasting ink? Kaluma Pen is all that and more. Write your own success with Kaluma Pen.
How
Hawa ni wa John's family last week. Hawa ni hao this week. Kwani kuliendaje? Wa John's family waliget maximum entertainment for less, na sahi wako closer than close. Pia family yako wanaweza kuwa close hivi wakicheki world class international channels that put the quality back in your quality time. That's what I'm talking about. Gotv Max itawaleta closer mara that. So, upgrade to Gotv Max for just 890 shillings leo. Gotv, love it.
Authentic, natural, planned. Transforming. Endless benefits. Slaty, purely Kenyan. Buy now on Jumia or Amazon.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Welcome to the exciting world of M-Truck Solutions, your trusted provider for bulk SMSs. We also offer API integrations for all your communication and payment needs. We also provide you with tailor-made payment getaway solution to receive and disperse cash quickly, affordable and securely. Let us expand your reach and connectivity on USSD, SMS and voice today. Call us on 0723 030 030 or email hello@mtruck.limited.co.ke. For more details, visit our website www.mtrucklimited.co.ke.
To prevent the spread of COVID-19, clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub. Maintain a safe distance from anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Wear a mask when physical distancing is not possible. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. If you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical attention. Stay safe. TV47 cares. Mount Kenya University is a leading training institution in journalism, mass communication, public relations, and film and animation studies. Mount Kenya University offers programs including certificate, diploma, bachelor's, postgraduate diploma, and masters. We pride ourselves in having state-of-the-art studios with ultra-modern equipment. We admit both government and self-sponsored students. Our fee payment policy is flexible. Mount Kenya University offers highly qualified faculty committed to quality training. Mount Kenya University has a reputation of producing award-winning students who have excelled in the industry. Internship and industrial attachment opportunities are guaranteed through TV47 and other media partners. Our programs are offered in our Thika main campus, Nairobi campus, Nakuru campus, and the newly launched journalism department in Mombasa campus. We offer flexible modes of study, day, evening, weekend, and Odell. Our January 2021 intake is ongoing at our campuses. Join us today and train with the best to become the best. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
The Nyali Golf View is situated along Links Road, Nyali, near the Mamba roundabout. Accommodation at the Nyali Golf View ranges from luxurious, air-conditioned, self-catering, elegantly designed 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, and a presidential suite. The apartments are ideal for families and business people. Be it a holiday or a business conference, Nyali Golf View Residence is the right place for you. Rooms reflect exquisite and high-standard decor and cozy elements that will enhance your stay. Nyali Golf View Residence also offers a fully equipped gym, the Real Infinity Pool, laundry services, valet parking space, and a play area for your children. The Nyali Golf View Residence delivers the best all-round hospitality. At the Nyali Golf View, you have room to think, room to play, room to recharge, room to walk tall, and room to unwind and dream, because it's not a room, it's a residence. For booking and reservation, 757-298-272 or email us at nyaligolfview@gmail.com or visit our website at www.nyaligolfview.com.
Go big and live stream Premier League, major marathons, and more. Sport plus the biggest Maisha Magic series, blockbusters, and kids shows. Go big for less and get Showmax Pro Mobile with 30 gigs telecom data included. That's up to 10 hours a day of the best sport, series, movies, and kids shows. Watch for just 1,200 Kenya shillings per month with the Showmax Pro Mobile subscription and 30 gigs telecom data at one great price. To sign up, dial *544# or go to showmax.com/telcom.
Welcome to the exciting world of M-Truck Solutions, your trusted provider for bulk SMSs. We also offer API integrations for all your communication and payment needs. We also provide you with tailor-made payment getaway solution to receive and disburse cash quickly, affordable, and securely. Let us expand your reach and connectivity on USSD, SMS, and voice today. Call us on 0723-030-030 or email hello@mtruck.limited.co.ke. For more details, visit our website www.mtrucklimited.co.ke.
You are watching TV47, the home of Untold Stories. On the next episode of Garden of Eden.
Huyu
anajua huyu alidate huyu,
alilala nao wawili alilala na huyu
na wanajuana wote, chances that wako in the same circles.
Maybe males are wired to be attracted to many females. Maybe I just used maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's probable.
Solomon alikuwa na mabibi wangapi?
Because imagine when we cheat back, they die.
Exactly.
They can't believe it.
Would you stand if your woman cheated on you?
No, when a woman cheats now, that's a dangerous part.
Now skia.
Every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Technology is meant to make life simple, from fluid communication to easy transportation. In a fast-moving digital world, keeping up with the tech world can be a headache.
And that is why I am here for you. I am David Ochola, and this is Tech 47, where keeping up with tech is made simple. From interviews with game-changing innovators to app reviews and gadget reviews. When it comes to all things tech, we have you covered. Trust me, if you don't see it on Tech 47, then it technically did not happen.
You are watching TV47, the home of Untold Stories.
Straight into the business of eating, all the way at the Tipsy Lounge, Suguta Road, Nairobi is where we are this morning. And when you talk about the business of eating, we definitely talk about the business of cooking. So this morning we'll be giving you tips on how best you can prepare a quick and very nice sweet breakfast for your family or for yourself or whoever it is that you want to treat it to. But importantly, we'll also be getting the best of a Tipsy's Lounge, that is on the chicken curry that will be prepared by Chef Kamal. That is later on as we proceed with the breakfast. We first start with the aspect of the breakfast, and we have Chef Caro who's on standby to take us through that. And I'll not talk much because then we just want to get into action or swing into action as we get to have or to understand this nitty-gritty details on how best you can make the best of your morning. So Karibu, once again, interact with us. Any questions for the chefs, you can always drop them on our social media platforms. They'll be here to answer, and we'll be doing this oftenly, so make sure that you always keep it morning cafe. Caro, good morning.
Good morning to you, Linda.
So what's in store for us this morning, that is for breakfast?
Okay, for breakfast today, we're gonna give our client bacons, beef sausages, Spanish omelette, and toasted bread. And for our tea, we won't prepare tea today. We will give our customer coffee. That is white coffee.
All right. Most of these things we hear about, but we do not know how to make them. So straight to Chef Carol, so that at least you can get the tips. Don't just be looking at them or seeing them on the counters, yet you do not know how to go about it. It's pretty simple, pretty fast, and pretty easy. You do not need to step out of the house without having that breakfast. To you, Chef.
Hello. Hello.
Proceed, Chef. We can hear you. Now let's get to business.
Oh, okay. So I will start with chopping my ingredients. That is, we have coriander. I'll put them here. I'll cut my tomatoes. I have onions. I have 2 eggs, and my bowl is here. So I'll start with chopping them. So for onions and tomatoes, we're gonna cut into dice. And if you are at home, you can use other spices, like you can add some spices. You can use capsicum instead of coriander. And for coriander, you cut them into fine pieces. We're not gonna use all of coriander, so I'll portion it. And also for my tomato, or for my onions, it's too much because I have 2 eggs. I'll separate some aside. Then I'll take my mixture of things I put in my bowl. This is my mixing bowl of today. Though it's too big, you can use a smaller one. And for your Spanish omelette, you don't put a lot of tomatoes because it will break when it's about to get ready. Okay, I'll break my eggs nicely. After seeing all my eggs are okay, now I'll beat them. You beat it thoroughly until it's all mixed up. Okay, now I'll take my salt. Now I will take my salt. I put a pinch. If you like a lot of salt, you can put more. But for me now, today, I'll put just a lot, a normal one, a small, a normal one. Then I'll beat it again until the salt is mixed well. Since what I need is ready, my bacon is ready, my beef sausages are ready, I'll now eat the pan, then start cooking. And for heat, you can use a medium. A lot of it can make the egg burn on the one side, so I'll reduce my heat a little. Okay, then I'll add a bit of oil. According to you can put more, or for me, I'll just put a little for the egg not to stick. Then I grease my pan. And don't put your egg when the pan has not heat well, because the egg will stick. As the pan is heating, I will cut my beef sausages so they be ready. Just my pan is now ready. I'll put my egg. I beat it again so that if there is anything which didn't mix well. You spread your egg in the pan. Okay, now my egg is continuing well. Then I use egg slicer, or you can use any spoon which you are comfortable with at home. If you like your egg brown, you can leave it a little longer. If you like it rare done, you can turn it immediately, the way your heart pleases. So my egg, it's okay, I'll turn it. So, and I may prefer people to use this pan because it's non-stick. You see, you can rotate it even the fire. Even when the fire don't get all sides, you can just rotate it. Yeah, and just like that, my egg is ready. So I will put it in a plate, a clean plate. Since I have other things, other food, I'll put it into triangle nicely. I suppose it's small. I'll just put it here. So next, since bacon always stick on the pan, I'll start with beef sausages. I'm a chef. I'll just read them. But before that, I must add little oil. because my pan is hot. Then for this, sometimes when it's from fridge, it can burn you. You keep on rotating them until all side is well done. But if you have oil, a big pan, you can pour more oil, then dip them inside. Leave them for a little longer for it to brown. If you like medium done, your beef sausage should be ready. If you have well done, a few minutes. I'll add a bit of oil of fire because my water is already out, so it will just cook itself now. Okay, my beef sausages are okay. Now I will put the fire off so I can remove them and remove extra oil because I'll be putting bacons and I don't need much oil. The reason why I'm using another plate instead of putting them there, I'm going to remove more oil using my serviette because most customers don't love so much oil on their beef sausages. You can even do that at home, removing oil from your sausages. Just put that there. Then now I'm going to remove too much oil from my pan so I can do bacons. I'm just going to use this plate for now, but you can use something metal or that because the oil is hot. Okay, I'm going to light the fire again. So for bacon, it takes the shortest time. If you want it medium, which is the best, and if you want it well done and crunchy, you can leave it a little longer. So for bacon, we'll just have to spread your bacon in the pan. Then you turn them, the other side which was not spread. Then my bacon is ready if I was to serve it to a customer. If you love it well done, you can leave it a little longer. But for me, it's ready. Then I'll just put my fire off because I don't have any other thing to prepare. That's it. Then I'll toast the bread. For bacon, I'll just serve it directly. I don't need to remove anything using the serviette. Okay, so we are going to toast our bread, which is the last item. For us, we serve 3 slices, but you can toast as much as bread as you want. Oh, sorry, I put a lot. Because I've put 4 minutes, when it's ready, it will just pop out. But if I'm seeing they are burning, I'll just pop it out. Because I have one chopping board to cut the bread. Yeah. So sometimes if the customer don't want bread, we can serve arrowroots, we can serve sweet potatoes. Also we have beans for proteins, baked beans. And also if we want some substitutes, like if the customer wants something else, we can just serve. So my bread is ready. Okay, as my bread goes on, I'll make some coffee. As usual times, we normally boil the water, but as for now, I've already boiled my water. I'll just serve it. My milk is also hot. So I'll just put a quarter portion of water and 3/4 of milk. I'll use my serviette. So for these, if you're serving it, we normally serve it with the 2 sachets, but if customer asks for more, we can add. But today I'll just use 2 sachets. Accident. My bread is ready. This one, I'll serve 3 for today. Put it nicely here. Then, if the customer wants some zesta, we have jam. If the customer is interested in Blue Band, we also have. We use that to serve the meal. Okay, for coffee, for my customer today, I'm going to serve coffee. I'm gonna put for him because I've known what the customer wants. Okay, I'll put some sugar. Because I've put sugar, salt, I want to do the setup for my tea. So I will serve my customer. My breakfast is ready. This is the full breakfast for Tipsies. You are all welcome. Then he will tell us how the breakfast is. Welcome. My jam, I told you it's an optional, but I just put it for the customer. And the tea, then I will okay, so maybe you have tasted, you will tell us how is the breakfast, how is the meal.
The Spanish omelette is really nice, really tasty. I like the way it's cooked.
Yeah.
And the sausages are well cooked.
Okay.
Yeah, good job.
Oh, thank you. So any other thing you need us to serve you, any additional?
I think I'm okay.
You are okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for tasting me.
Okay, enjoy your breakfast.
Thank you.
So, okay, now I told you we also have chicken curry, which will be for lunch. This is our Tipsies chicken curry. It's very tasty, which is being prepared by Chef Kamal, though he will come later, but me, I'll just explain to you what the ingredients we use. I'll open it so you see inside. Okay, so in our chicken curry, how we prepare it. So it's always being done live cooking. We prepare it for you as you see, or you join us preparing it. So the ingredients we use is, you put your onion on fire until it's brown. You put cumin seeds. You add your tomatoes, diced, for it to cook fast. Then when it's ready, like it's in paste form, you add your chicken. After adding your chicken, you wait until it drain all the water, the chicken water which you used when it was being cut and all that. After that, for us, we add garam masala. Then we add salt for taste. Then you wait for your chicken. Now you stir them together. Then you wait for your chicken until the gravy is thick and you feel it's ready for you. Then that's how we do it. Now, I think if you have any questions for me, maybe you can ask before I introduce Kamal. Hello.
All right, can you hear me? Yes,
Hello?
yes. And call it simple breakfast things. And you know, Cairo has taken a while simply because, well, we had to take you through so you can get to learn. But these are some of the things that after you have learned to add so well, you can easily do it very fast while you are at home. That is on the breakfast this morning. We call it Tasty Wednesday. And During Tasty Wednesday, we are right here at Tipsy's Lounge. Yes, I say we are at the Tipsy's Lounge because then I have my team down on ground who are working out this so you can get the clarity and also get to understand some of these tips. Not just yet, I mean, before we get to go, like Caro has said, we have Chef Kamal who's coming with the signature meal for Tipsy's Lounge. He'll be taking us through what it is that they do in terms of preparation of this, as Caro has equally taken us briefly, but importantly, he'll be telling us what other things that they get to do down there. Remember, we'll be doing this oftenly at the Tipsy's Lounge. So to you, Chef Kamal, good morning.
Hi, Linda. I can hear you now.
You well?
Good. So on our Karoga menu, So on the Karoga menu now, we have just introduced, just to give our customer a variety of food, apart from the local choma that we do, the wet fries. We have quite a grand menu on that one. We decided to add on to that menu a curry menu, and we decided to do it as a Karoga because it indulges the customer to know what they want to eat as well and what spices go in, and thus we decided Karoga. On this particular issue, we are later on coming up with a new menu, which in the next few months we shall be unveiling, which will include chicken tikka, kebabs, sheikh kebabs, naan, and we shall bring forth that later. However, if there's anything else you'd like to know, please do ask.
If you can hear me, the question then would be, you have spoken about the Karoga menu.
Hello?
I'm saying you've spoken about the Karoga menu. Kindly make us understand what...
yeah. So anyway, so...
Just what exactly is the Karoga menu?
We are inviting new guests to come in, to come and indulge in Karoga. While they're doing that, they can always seek my assistance, or if they do know how to do it, I will provide all the various spices for that particular dish that they want. Yeah? So I believe that is all from me for the moment until we see what else is to come on Karoga. Yeah? Is there anything on that anyone needs to ask? On Karoga, anything? Well, on the Karoga right now, what I can actually add on is, we are located on Suguta Lane off Othaya Road. We are open for Karoga on Fridays and Saturdays. We start off from 11 a.m. in the morning. Always we can decide to book you in if you do call earlier. Yeah. And oh yes, events. We also cater for events. So you can have all your baby showers, your bridal showers, your birthdays. This is ideal for that. We would love to have you here, and if you do come in, we would be able to write down the recipes for you.
Well, we'll be giving you more of the Tipsy's launch. We're just trying to give you a snippet of what we'll be doing, and we'll be having, or we'll be hosting a session of the Karoga menu that he speaks about. So it's going to be Morning Cafe's Karoga edition, where we'll do Morning Cafe live on location. That is down there, as we get to understand some of the sweetest of, what it is that Tipsy's launch has in a store. So make sure that you be our guest, because your mornings will not be mornings like any other. I mean, it is only fair that we ensure that we incorporate every detail of everything and anything, and especially when we're hosting these shows. And I always say that I love my second segment, because during this segment I'm allowed to go, and do different things. And all this, if you are interested, I mean, we'll always have a field for everyone. So we'll be doing the Karoga Festival, or the Koroga, not the Koroga Festival, you know it, the Koroga Edition Morning Cafe. That should be soon. We'll be keeping you up to tabs as to when this will happen. But all the same, we say thank you so much for keeping us company. You got the breakfast tips, the chicken curry right there, and more will be coming your way. It was good having you right from the word go and up until now, where it's now time that we come to a close, as we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember, this is Morning Cafe.